NIP's turn to ban.
With it to enable the Beastmaster, because Beastmaster a few patches back got some base armor nerfs, and that made him lose these way earlier than he wants to be, losing his tier 1. This third, fourth pick combo to be 2 lane counters.
Yeah, this is where you have to win the draft. The Rubik, I actually feel, is a really smart pick here. I think VP would have picked it if it had been offered to them. Obviously, the big thing is the counter to the Void.
Yeah, and it counters a lot of these safe laners that Void likes to be, or the 5 positions that Void likes to be paired with, such as the Jakiro. That Stolen Ice Path is pretty brutal, and it kind of limits a lot of these heroes that throw damage into the Chrono. A lot of them are very bad against Rubik.
Yep. OD, of course, mentioned on our SAP suggested picks here, is another very popular ranged pairing with the Void. You do have to worry about the laning counters and the Pugnant snipers. We've seen so many times in this tournament if you go in that direction.
Do they go something like CM? Just
I'll tell you, CM is one of those the list of big 6 heroes coming into this tournament. CM is the only one that we really haven't seen picked.
Yeah, even though you have the Mirana to rotate for the catapults, you do want to have support with nuking wave clear potential, because even just getting dove somewhat early with the Chen rotations is a huge problem when you're a hero like Void with no wave clear. And they're threatening a lot of push. Rubik is also a 4-position hero that just shoves the lane into your tower.
NIP's turn to pick.
Okay, so they do go for a summoning stunner.
Sure.
You know, the cast does last for 5 seconds on creeps, so it does help you clear the creeps.
And again, with proper placement, obviously you don't want to place that Death Ward inside the Chronosphere, but with proper placement, that offers you some damage potential in the Chrono as well. It's a support. It's going to help with that lane aggression. Obviously, against the Beastmaster, you get the bounces off the boars on your casks, but I still think that off lane is going to be off lane versus safe lane. You could kind of have read it coming into this series based on the problems that VP have had in this tournament, but I think that's what we're seeing so far in the first 3 picks.
Yeah, I think either team, whichever one rotates to the Virtus Pro's safe lane, like if Pyjamas makes the aggressive rotation, if Virtus Pro makes the defensive rotation to boot the Beastmaster out, I think that's going to be a huge momentum shift like early on in the game, because Beastmaster and Void are very feast or famine type heroes in the early game. If they can show in lane, they farm really fast and pressure the tower. If they can't, like we said, Void doesn't want to retreat to the jungle. Beastmaster, he wants to be pushing towers and applying pressure with that roar.
Just to double check, I'm pretty sure I know the answer here, but Void 95% a safe laner to you here?
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't seen many offlane voids in terms of flex picks lately. It's been exclusively a safe laner. First phase, most of its picks at this event. But again, we've seen Epikit have a couple of up and down performances on void here in the recent past.
Yeah, you'd hate to swap it up just because you don't have like faith in your carry player to play the hero. Void's really the only carry hero you can pick right now, and it doesn't matter what dual lane he's against, he's going to have a decent game. Like you said, there's been people that have presented problems like the Puck from Beast Coast that put a ton of pressure on the Void, but for the most part, this hero has no bad lane matchups, and eventually he's just the best hero with farm in the entire game of Dota right now. The Bash late game, it used to just do flat damage, now it's basically a 200% crit. He just scales too well with farm, I think, to not put him in the one position.
I'm not gonna lie here. This Ember Spirit makes me nervous. Through yesterday's game, Ember Spirit was 1 win and 12 losses here at ESL 1 Hamburg. This hero has really, really struggled, and a lot of times it's gotten punished early.
I think it's the roots that like have really hurt this hero a lot. You just die in so many more ways. There's so many extra heroes that counter you. You can pick these pucks that you couldn't previously pick.
Rod of Atos, right?
Yeah,
that's just, I've seen Rod of Atos just ruin this hero.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to this hero. Is there's one or two extra deaths in the mid game. Just slow. Yeah, there's the roots, right?
Oh yeah.
This hero in the old days couldn't play against Emperor because Emperor could just get away with remnants and slide a fist. And now most Underlords do the Atos build where you root them with the Pit of Malice and then you Atos them and then the Pit of Malice is off cooldown again. And for this particular matchup, I don't think Ember can buy a Yules because I think you Yules off the Pit of Malice and then you land in it again. Yep. So that's a nice way to catch the Ember, and that's the problem that I think answers your why Ember Spirit's been struggling at this tournament, is that you can just kill him so much more easily. You have the route into arrow now, and I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a mid Ember because it's just a gunner special, right?
Absolutely. I think it's one of his comfort heroes, but the other thing that the Underlord does is it gives you a huge degree of tempo control against this Chen Beastmaster lineup. If they decide to get aggressive, think about diving towers early on, Underlord is that big old stop sign.
There's no bigger D pusher in the early mid game, not only because he has the wave clear from Firestorm, but also because his ultimate serves as like a second TP. So a lot of times with Chen lineups, what they'll do is they'll force pressure on a tower, and then Chen will TP to another lane and recall his core very quickly. Usually a core that TP to that tower, which is usually not possible to do. But Underlord's one of the few heroes that can respond to the initial push and respond to the secondary push. We'll be looking to see Underlord basically be planning himself, like you said, as a barrier in front of any pushes. He should be there at all times, and we saw 33 on Alliance yesterday play Bristleback for the Void. It serves as a hero that front lines and forces attention to himself. That makes the chrono easier, right? You usually can either put a primary initiator to have the chrono be follow-up, or you can have a hero that kind of forces attention to themselves. This is another hero that does that exact same thing, and Necro's lane matchup against Ember's actually better than it used to be because Heartstopper Aura is magic damage, and it ticks off your Flame Guard when it previously would not do quite enough damage with your Death Pulse.
I was just going to say, I've seen, for whatever reason, the couple of high-level pub replays I've seen recently, I've seen some Embers absolutely get ruined in lane by Necrophos. That lane matchup looks drastically different to me than even a couple of months ago.
And this shuts down a lot of the heroes that are very good against Underlord in lane, the Slark type heroes, these elusive heroes that want to just feed off of the Underlord's beefiness, and Necro just shuts a lot of those down.
Yeah, it's just scary looking at these 5 picks from VP. There's just so much disable, so much catch. We figured it's still a little bit of flex value. The Amber Spirit, he could be safe lane, but we figure we are looking at the safe lane for the final pick for VP here.
Yeah, I have to believe so. You're for NIP, you mean, right?
For NIP, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to pick a hero that threatens them when they show on lanes, because you have Underlord and Necro, 2 heroes that's really job in the game is to walk down lanes and push Q, and they shove the lanes. And right now,
there's the. Okay, I like that. So that's. Do you think that this is mid Pugna or safe lane Pugna?
This is mid Pugna.
Okay, so they're bailing on the Ember matchup against the Necro.
Yeah, the Necro is one of the best sustained heroes in the game, right? So the best way to deal with him is to kill him from full to 0, and Pugna is one of the few heroes that can do that with his level 6. Him and Leshrac come to mind. So I like that last pick for Ninja's Pyjamas. Gunner, quite a good Pugna player, but I think it's much harder for them to play this game than it is for VP.
Okay, battle of the wheels between the two. Who's had a better draft, solo or PPD?
I think the Underlord pick is the trump card. I look at every other part of this VP lineup, and they have to play around a lot of cooldowns. They have to time their tower pushes very carefully against the pressure of the Beastmaster Chen core on the side of NIP, but I think that Underlord pick is going to be enough to let them control tempo.
All right, it's time to head over to our commentary team for series number 2, game number 1. It's Capitalist and Blitz.
A very different series, this, compared to Wind and Rain versus Beast Coast, and it's going to result in a very, very different draft. We talked about, like, Void being ignored in the last series, and Underlord being picked up even in this last is certainly unique, Blitz.
It's probably one of the few Underlord games that I'm actually okay with, because I actually think the hero is pretty bad, but I think that in this specific set of win conditions, I think it's actually pretty good.
So ignoring the draft, what do you think about their team matchups, though? British Pro versus Ninjas and Pyjamas. Do you have a favorite between the two? Because I'll say both don't look quite so hot. In fact, we see the odds favoring British Pro. Maybe that's just a bunch of, like, CIS fanboys backing their team, but I would say VP has not been looking great.
Neither has Nip, really.
True.
Who did they beat at this tournament? They 2-0'd Wind and Rain, who were obviously a much better team than everyone gave credit for, but aside from that, that was their only series win.
Yeah.
So far, they got 2-0'd by everybody else, and their other 2-0 was the forfeit victory over Quincy.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas VP, I mean, they haven't looked great, but they have pulled out some wins.
30 seconds to battle.
All right, well, we're going to head into it with the Necrophos mid, safe lane Void, off lane Underlord. And Blitz, I'm kind of excited because we don't normally, like, disagree too much on the draft. I actually like that Pugna last pick. I think, like, one-to-one heroes, right, does well against Necrophos. I think it bodies Underlord. I think it's actually not bad versus Void. Why do you think it's a bad pick, or why do you think NIP's draft is bad?
I don't know. I feel like I would have liked a little bit more burst damage. I'm not sure why. I just think that if I'm looking at their lineups, when they get their initial roar off, I don't know how quickly they kill the Necrophos and get rid of the Void and get rid of the Underlord. Especially if the Underlord gets a good laning phase, he's going to get things like Pike Greaves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a lot of that damage that you're putting out onto that Necrophos and that Void going to get mitigated. And all it takes is like one good chrono. As what?
Well, this combo is not assured arrows, that's for sure. Paralyzing Cask into Marana arrow.
Yeah, but I feel like you just shoot that higher, right?
Yeah, probably. Well,
Shen's pretty slow.
live and learn, I guess.
It's fine.
You gotta shake those things off, especially since, as you said, this is gonna be scary if the Underlord does have a good laning phase, and I'm pretty certain he's going to.
Yeah.
I would
imagine
this Ember matchup is not that good for Ember.
Yeah, Ember doesn't get chains anymore, so you're not really harassing him too much. You can stand under your Firestorm and be perfectly fine. All melee versus Underlord matchups feel really terrible.
That was constant.
Well, we're gonna see what Peter can do in lane with his level 1 Divine Favor plus Headdress.
It's so hard for Ember Spirit to deny Underlord once he gets a Quelling Blade.
Yeah.
With his passive, he deals so much damage.
And I think the biggest thing about Underlord is just, like, make sure you get those first 2 or 3 levels. And then from there, even if you die or whatever, you're going to have a chance to be able to get plenty of CS. You're going to continue your farm, and you're just going to keep on running down lanes. And that's something that BSJ was, I think, kind of talking about there, both for the Underlord as well as the Necrophos. 2 cores that are just able to kind of shove in lanes, and that'll naturally create some space for our Faceless Void carry.
Yeah. And this is just going to be more of a farming back and forth, I would imagine. And when we say that it's a good good lane for the Underlord, it doesn't mean that Ember's not going to get anything. It's just that Rezo's going to get a lot out of this lane too.
Yeah. What about our other lanes? What about that mid lane matchup that we see between the Pugna and Necrophos?
And this should be relatively even in that Gunnar can always nuke for the range creep, and he can always decrep for denying CS and forcing no one to use his mana or to use his pulse. But it looks like the matchup right now is going pretty heavily in favor of the Necro. I thought this was a 50-50 matchup, but it's been a while since I played it, so forgive me if I'm wrong.
Don't worry, I'm sure that these two probably haven't played the matchup too often lately either. Certainly have not been the most meta of heroes. And then we've got our safe lane from Virtus Pro, which is going to be that Faceless Void that we talked about earlier, guarded by Solo's Witch Doctor against Universe's Beastmaster and Viver's Rubik. A lane that should be really annoying for the Void, I would imagine, between Fade Bolt and then Boar Harassment.
Yeah, and Solo, I mean, he's gonna find the Hawk eventually. It's not in Spork already, though. Denied so many different pulls.
Yeah, you get a little bit of gold, some experience, but they just want to make sure that Solo can't do the constant pulling that really disrupts the laning phase and actually gives the Void a solid lane. He'd rather be last hitting under tower than have to deal with Rubik and Beastmaster harassing him constantly.
Beastmaster also having a very free lane for himself. Both offlaners looking like they're getting quite a lot out of their lanes. And it's really this mid lane so far that has been quite in favor of no one.
No one still being that dominant mid laner. Did you guys get a much chance to be able to scrim against this VP team?
Yeah, I think a few times. No one is still the same player, right?
Yeah.
Still almost always wins his lane. He's just kind of oppressive to play against because you know that he's getting CS all the time. Gunner's gonna bottle a haster, and I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to use that offensively or anything like that.
The stench of death.
Out of curiosity, which would you find like scarier? The no one that is, you know, just able to win his lane, then run around killing stuff, or do you find like that the carry style no one that sometimes happen?
I'm more afraid of the one that just runs around killing everybody. Solo's gonna get gone on. Opted to take this hero because it is a good matchup against the Witch Doctor against the Chen and the Beastmaster.
Yep. See, Gunner decrepifying just to make sure he secures the range creep. That's all important for him, but still losing the CS battle quite heavily. He's 11 down in regular creeps and 5 denies behind as well.
Yeah, the good news for him though is his safe laner has more or less free farm. Save is gonna go for the arrow, but lands on the big creep might have just been what he intended in the first place. Looks like this is going to be a pretty good bounty split for NIP, in fact, as they grab 3 of them.
Yeah, that actually could have been 4 if Peter could have out-clicked save for that last one, but sadly not the case there. I just gotta laugh, man. Like, talk about neutering a hero. Chen is literally just a regen bot. He just shows up in lane with his passive and his ring of headdress, and he just gives the Ember Spirit enough regen to survive through the lane.
Yeah. And the weird part about both lineups is they're really passive in the early game. Like, until they get levels, no one's going to move around. There's not going to really be any deaths in the lanes, I feel like. Both offlaners are quite tanky. Save.
Oh, Save might be in trouble here.
Oh, wow. He actually
bullied it away. Meanwhile, no one in mid lane does manage to force out the glyph just off of this siege wagon. Does get a decent amount of damage though, really pressuring this Pugna. And I think the Pugna, he kind of needs to have a strong laning phase, right?
Oh, I think he might be dead here.
He might be dead here. Just a misstep there from Gunner. Did not read how much damage no one could do.
And you can see the frustration on his face. He knows, as no one's got to feel really good. I didn't think any kills were going to happen actually until the Beastmaster hit level 6.
Yeah.
Or the Void decided to make a rotation down with this Chronosphere, but instead it's going to come in that mid lane. And it feels so good when you do it without a gank.
Yeah.
With all that XP, you deny so much farm on the other side. And it's, in fact, the Necrophos that's pressuring the tower. It's usually the Pugna that does this, but he's dead for another 10 seconds because of the Reaper Scythe.
And because he forced that glyph earlier, this is just going to be all free damage. Resolution is going to be in trouble in the bottom. Those rocks, all those rocks come hailing down from the mini golems, and Resolution will eventually die here.
Very nice by PBD.
Save. Not much he can really do to stop that. So, as a result, Ninjas of Pyjamas, a very small lead right now in net worth. Obviously, that's no one gonna be top of the board right now, thanks to that solo kill mid. Gunner just with a big misplay.
Yeah, now he's level 7. He's had absolute free farm. And we talked about how if all 3 of the cores come online, I feel like there's going to be damage missing on the side of NIP. No one is a little bit low,
good
though.
Scan. Perfectly reads that there is that rotation coming in from Viper.
He's going to wait and be patient. This range creep is going to be the death of him if he decides to go for it, but that's why he's hanging back. And it looks like he's actually going to go for the Greaves, and it's going to be the Underlord that most likely goes like Pipe or something. Atos Pipe,
Yeah.
I'm okay with either of the decisions.
Atos would definitely be sick in this game to, get that chain stun with your pit. Also, additional control against the Ember Spirit, but this lineup, it's not necessarily about killing the enemy team, right? It's just about surviving through their magic damage burst.
Yeah,
So maybe Pipe is a
They
little
have
bit more warranted.
pretty
for
good
that.
catch. I
That's
mean,
true.
they're heavily relying on the Faceless Void, but if I look at the heroes in the game right now, it feels alright. As
The Leptic Kid gonna make his first rotation into the mid lane with the Chronosphere out with an arrow on top of that, and the Reaper's Scythe. Gunner is dead once again for 40 seconds, thanks to the additional death timer.
And think about how long the Rubik waited there. Viver was waiting in that area for well over 2 minutes, and instead it's the rotation from the Faceless Void that nets that kill, and Gunner's just getting abused right now.
Yeah, 4 heroes in the mid lane, use of the Chronosphere and the Reaper's Scythe. That's some serious hate right there. But VP, you can make those kind of plays with the early Chronosphere.
I think
Why not? You're not going to use it much anyway. Resolution's going to be in some trouble here. He's trying with that Firestorm to burn out the Flame Guard, and that'll be just enough with no one TPing it as well. Resolution might be fine unless Skeeter can finish him off with his double damage to jump forward onto the Remnant. Save trying to hit him with the arrow, but the Remnant wasn't quite enough. Skeeter really thought that he had it there.
And Skeeter decides to go for it again. He's going to waste all his remnants. Got to be a little bit afraid now.
I mean, he was free. He could have just, remnanted in, kind of chased the Underlord. He didn't have to jump away right. But
They should try to connect towards mid though, because they brought so many different heroes to this. I don't think you're in a good position if you allow them to completely reset off of this move. PP going to bring in Skeeter as well. This will be 4 heroes, and Gunner's going to secure this tower for them. And I'd like to see them now make this move towards top. You can already tell that the Faceless Void doesn't want to be in this position.
Yeah.
Under attack.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. And once you open up this top lane, there's a lot of possibilities. You can smoke back into your own jungle, which I think would be the play that I decide to go for.
yeah, just kind of clear that out, especially since VP is going to be trying to mirror you. You can already see
So what
our
you do
vision that they're doing so.
is you set up 3 heroes up here. You help the Beastmaster take the tower, and all of a sudden you have 3 heroes smoking down towards bottom, and you can get some deep vision down yourself, de-ward some stuff. You probably don't save this tower, but you at least want to root them out of the jungle.
Yeah. You TP together to like tier 2 or the Shrine if you want to make a faster play. Underlord's going to be pushing in mid. Viver thinking about popping his head out with a Fate Bolt and trying to pull some of these creeps off the tower, but he's immediately going to get jumped on here.
I'm surprised he decided to show.
Yeah.
I would have liked that play if the rest of his team decided to come over, as Rezo going to get roared up mid. This should be a trade here.
Is under attack.
No chance for Rezo to survive, especially since he doesn't have the Hood of Defiance.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So that is that rotation you were kind of talking about, where they secure that top tower and then they just kind of rotate
you wanna
through the
move
map downwards, and they just happen to collide with Resolution in mid instead of making their way all the way down to bottom. And that's a fair trade-off for a 4 position for a 3.
They don't have roar, but this might just be a free kill on the solo if they set things up right. You're getting him a little bit low. PPD going to come around with the creeps.
2 to 3, 11.5 minutes in, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Oh, Resolution's gonna TP in. They're gonna try and contest this tower. The rest of Virtus Pro a ways away. But as the aggression comes out from Skeeter, defensive rotation from no one. Leptic, he's going to be able to get the 2-man Chronosphere, and no one, as well as Solo, they're going to be able to close the distance pretty soon here with the arrow on top of Gunner. Looks like he's just going to get bursted down 100 to 0, just like last time. Gunner, truly the sacrificial mid laner for Ninjas in Pyjamas at this point.
I don't really feel like you can be in a game like this, though, because he represents so much of their damage right now.
Yep.
That having him get jumped on is pretty rough. And right now for NIP, the only form of initiation that they really get is either the Rubik Lift or the Roar. And with how weak their heroes are right now, that doesn't feel very good as a way to start fights.
Yeah, certainly, like, you're talking about Gunner dying this much. You're the last big hero. You're supposed to be the one that solves all these problems.
I don't know what hero I would have put in this position. I think I suggested Tinker,
Yes.
but Like, I needed some sort of hero that would overall carry this game, and I don't know if Pugna's that. Plus, I just wanted, like, constant chip damage.
Certainly at this kind of rate. I mean, this is a VP squad that you look at their roster, it's a slower lineup for sure. If they're doing this well in the early game, you're going to be really happy with yourselves because you're only going to get stronger from here. At best, Nip is going to hit like a really big mid-game window about 25 minutes in.
Yeah, and this is the problem now, is that the Pugna can't really solo kill onto the Necrophos, and the Necrophos just has so much farm. And Virtus Pro, I feel like I really like their core matchups. They're gonna make
The dive here, trying to quickly kill that Underlord, but intercepted by Solo with a great paralyzing cast. Reaper's Sight to be able to stop that, make sure the Pugna does indeed go down for the 4th time. Arrow coming out, Universe does manage to sidestep that. Virtus Pro moving forward with their Moonlight Shadow, don't really have any additional catch, and if they're not careful, Nip may just turn around and try and kill no one, but TPing in from the Faceless Void, no Chronosphere just yet, but it does have the time dilation to be able to slow down Viver, catch him, meanwhile the Pit, grabbing the Ember Spear momentarily here, but he's going to be able to jump into the cliff area and TP out just fine.
threw down the War 2 to try to see him at the last second, but no stuns or anything like that in time. But we're seeing again, like, the initiations are going to be in favor of VP. They can't really burst down no one. He's got full Greaves already and a wand. He's incredibly farmed. We talked about how they were going to lack damage. I still don't know where that really comes from. And it's not like their job gets easier once you get a pipe online, once your Void gets a BKB.
I mean, simply put, Ninjas and Pyjamas could not have this kind of early game.
No.
Right? They needed to get off to a heavy start. They're not even ahead in net worth. In fact, they're down by 2K. What would you give the chances for this game?
I think it's pretty rough right now.
Like
Just
a
because
75-25?
I didn't see what the win probability was, but like 80-20 maybe? Maybe a little bit more than that?
Yeah. It's total plus hits is 90-10, right?
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's altogether too inaccurate, because I still think that NIP could win, but I think Universe at this point probably has to carry them with his movement.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have the kind of farm or the type of setup to be able to do so. It's never really NIP making any like smoke moves or anything like that. It's always just them sort of running into the area, and VP, whenever they have cooldowns, just straight up challenging them. And they don't really feel comfortable. You saw that Rezo just sits here. When they dove him with the Roar last time, they just had to instantly disengage because they see 3 TPs. If you want to make that kind of play, you have to also control the Shrine area. So when you see the TPs coming in, they can't really make that move. They're going to smoke up. They want to take this fight. This is the 3rd time now NIP's been up here.
Smoke's gonna break. No one's gonna lead the way here because he does have the Guardian Greaves. He's a very tanky target. He wants Ninjas the Pyjamas to try and turn and fight him. Failing that, if Nip just run backwards, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, as long as Nip isn't doing anything, as long as they're not accomplishing anything on the map, taking towers, winning team fights, then this game is moving forward and forward for Virtus Pro.
VP also have their own catch issues, aside from having Chronosphere up, but I'd say they still probably feel perfectly okay.
Yeah. Not having catch isn't that big of a deal when you're just like kind of passively winning.
Yeah, and plus you have like the ultimate catch, right? You've got got Chronosphere.
Moonlight Shadow going down. Epileptic Kid trying to set up on Viper with the rotation coming out from the Underlord, just freely using the Chronosphere just to make sure they get that kill. It feels like overcommitment in a bit, but simultaneously, Nip haven't been able to win fights when Chronosphere's down, so...
Yeah, they currently have no moves to make right now. They've been sort of like bashing their heads in against this top lane, but it doesn't really feel like they're making too much headway. And again, Rezo's gonna TP up here, say, go on me. Like, I want to get roared.
Yep.
He's got Pipe 1500, 1700 HP, a stick. If this is not an easy to take down hero, he's gonna push that wave back out. They're gonna continue to go top. Maybe they have to make a play because Chronosphere's down, but I actually think that's what VP is trying to bait them into.
Yeah. That's why they kept on, like, Nip kept on making this play with Gunnar trying to, like, run back behind the tower. They need to be able to actually kill this Underlord, take the tier 2. They can't just let him continue to passively defend.
Yeah, no one's going to join up with him. As Rezo just continues to beat them back. And they're using so much to try to enable this top push. They've got 4 heroes up here. All the while, their Faceless Void is freely farming at bottom because he knows it's very likely that the Beastmaster is up here too.
Even TP back to the shrine area, which they do have a Hawk to be able to see that, so maybe this is an opportunity for Ninjas to Pyjamas one way or another. They can go top, knowing the Void can't immediately get there, or maybe they could try and gank the Void. They choose to go top, running immediately into Resolution, and that just kind of ruins things. Roar going out with no one insane trying to challenge the Beastmaster. He does get out, but again, passive game goes the way of Virtus Pro. Nip just feels like every single one of their moves is being countered time and time again.
Yeah, they're just constantly getting stymied. I think Skeeter right now is trying his best to keep up in net worth, but he's probably really afraid every time Chrono's up and anybody's missing off the map, they could just be invis trying to set up on him. And they've time and time again demonstrated that they are willing to throw out that Chrono even for solo kills.
Yeah, they'll do it on a Rubik. They'll certainly do it on an Ember Spirit. BKB next for a Faceless Void, because why not? Like, it's just the ultimate team fight winning item. Just secure the fact you will not get run over in the mid game.
Yeah, look how far Rezo feels like he's able to play. Just pushing this lane in. Doesn't even have vision really in this top area. They might get solo here. This would be
something small to work with.
It's a pick off at this point.
Yeah.
And Solo is being really cocky. There was nobody near him.
Yeah.
I don't even think he had vision on that left side. I think he just decided to make that play.
And saying, like, very confidently, I think my team can contest 4 versus 5 to defend the tier 2 or defend Roshan or whatever Nip try and do.
It's also saying you don't really care if you die.
Yeah.
Rezo's gonna get gone on the Roar. Let's still have the pipe up.
TPing in, and maybe with Nip already having this early lead on the Underlord, but the heal's gonna come out, the Dark Rift away, and they just do not have enough burst damage. At this rate, the Fateful, it's still not enough, especially with that Shrine activated. They'll cancel their TPs. Nip do manage to force Virtus Pro back to their base, but it does not give them a lot of time to hit the tier 2 Underlord. He's already back with the TP scroll. See Peter trying to build up some magic resistance creeps off those Hellbears, but now he's gonna get caught trying to solo push. This just seems like frustration at this point. He just kind of alled in to try and finish off that tier 2 that they've been stuck on for the last 8 minutes.
They will finally get it. And it looks like they're just going into mode split push, which is normally what you do when you don't think you can win a 5-on-5 fight.
Yeah.
Which I agree with their logic right now. So we're going to see Rezo get gone on again. They did get him a lot lower than I expected.
Yeah, the immediate burst was quite formidable, but then no one shows up. He's able to get off Dark Rift.
Oh, he didn't even bother popping his wand.
20 wand charges, yeah.
Interesting.
Is under attack.
So he effectively had like another 300 HP, no problem.
It was as not close as you originally expected.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't pop his wand because he knew he was going to live.
Yeah. I mean, do you have another plan for Nip at this point? Like, you see them just keep on, crashing into that tier 2 at top and stuff, but what else can they do?
Looks like right now their plan is just to farm and hope that they outscale. I mean, they're not doing terribly bad. The way that we're talking about them, for the casual observer, it's 8-3, 2,000 gold. You think well, things are going perfectly fine. I'd say VP are playing a little bit more passively than I'd like. Maybe
thinking about the Chronosphere, but the Decrepify has already gone off. Epileptic Hit is going to go back in. Now the Decrepify is gone, Life Drain's done for. He can slowly beat down this Pugna. A small help in hand from Solo and his Death Ward. They'll even be able to kill those magic resistant centaurs.
That one dragon helping out so much.
Yep. And VP, well, apparently they heard you, Blitz. They're actually going to be on the offensive now. Trying to take some towers, go for that mid-tier 2 after the pick-off on Gunner. They have a little bit of time to work with after all.
Yeah, the scary part is if you're too passive and you decide to take one bad fight in front of your base, Beastmaster lineups will take down towers really quickly.
Oh yeah, Beastmaster with Chen and a Pugna. That is a lot of tower.
Look at this, Universe, he's gonna get caught out.
Dual Scepter on save, able to stop Universe. Cancel his TP. They're going to TP in with no one now, so they're going to finish him off with the Reaper's Scythe.
Could even Roche with that. 70 seconds dead on the Beastmaster. Maybe they'd be concerned because they have no ultis and they don't want to be in a position where they fight into a Beastmaster with buyback.
They're also close to some pretty key items. They almost have the Radiance on the Necrophos second item. I think that's pretty massive. Looks like Crimson Guard is going to be next for Resolution. He's just about to complete the Vanguard whenever he gets to the secret shop. Making this lineup significantly tankier. What's the next like big window for Nip? Since they are just kind of like sitting back and going, okay, like we've had it. We can't actually take over this game in the first 20. We have to fall back on plan B. What's the next item timings? Is there something specific that's going to make them really strong?
Maybe the BKB on the Ember Spirit.
Okay.
I could see that making a decent amount of difference right now.
Well, nothing big is coming out from Gunner. He's actually going for a Glimmer Cape.
That's pretty standard.
Has it in his has stash.
That's pretty standard.
Certainly.
You're moving really quickly. You want a way to engage and disengage. Solves a lot of Pugna's problems from the burst magic damage that you take to when you're decrepit up. But it doesn't really solve your problem of getting chronoed every fight.
Yeah. Certainly not going to be a game-changing item.
It takes a lot of damage off the Necrophos too when he loads up that Reaper Scythe.
True.
Depending on, hopefully he's not using it on you in that situation then.
Gets the ward on the high ground. Maybe this is an opportunity for Ninjas of Pyjamas now that DP is a little bit outside of their base. Now that they are the aggressors,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
could be an advantage here in positioning for Ninjas of Pyjamas as they smoked up with 3. They're going to take over this high ground area. No one is getting close to it. The smoke is going to break here, and they're going to start their initiation onto no one while simultaneously trying to slow down this Void. Void is ready to go with the Primal Will. They actually do manage to blow up that Necrophos. Resolution's going to be up next. He tries to get off the TP away, but that's not going to happen. No Dark Rift for you. And now Virtus Pro going to have to use their Chronosphere defensively. A big win for Ninjas of Pyjamas, killing 2 cores and forcing out the Chrono.
So the BKB.
And maybe a little bit of hubris from Virtus Pro as well. It seemed like they thought they were just, they can't burst us down.
They were so cocky there.
They were mega cocky, like no one positioning himself right next to the high ground of all places.
Oh,
The rest of his team is on the right-hand side.
I mean, things would be perfectly fine for them, but they just had to make that move. They thought, no way in hell NIP ever decides to fight us, but NIP, they pick up the BKB on Skeeter. They're like, we've had enough.
Hey, well, I don't mind it. We've got a little bit of a game on our hands now with Ninjas of Pyjamas being able to pick up that Aegis for Skeeter. We'll see that fight
You
again.
can see how far forward no one is.
They're showing all 3 cores on the tower. No one positions himself close to the high ground area. Kind of a late Dark Rift.
Yeah, I mean,
A lot of issues.
they were simply thinking there's no way we can lose a fight. They haven't taken a fight. They thought that they would just give up the tower for free. NIP correctly made the decision to defend it.
Oh, and this is, I'm not sure about this one. Virtus Pro, they're going to try and defend their tier 2, but immediately Resolution is jumped on, and from a distance, they're going to be able to drain him down. The BKB from Skeeter once again coming into play, locking down Epileptic Kid. They need a bit more burst damage, though, to go on that carry Void, so they'll just take the tier 2, start backing it up a little bit.
And now they've taken a 2k gold lead. It's Reso's turn this time to play really far forward, risk his life.
Like they didn't have Chronosphere for 70 seconds, Blitz. They just lost a fight when they had Chronosphere.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It feels like they are very tanky, but as a group and together is where their strength is, and being able to play behind the Chronosphere. If the Faceless Void isn't in a position to actually get the jump off, you don't really have that much protection. Because what you want in an ideal world is no one gets jumped on, he turns around with Greaves, you get pipe off, then that sets up for a really nasty Chronosphere.
Yep.
But if Epileptic Kid isn't in a good position, then you can't really make those plays, and Rezo can't really sit forward like that as if he's this unkillable boss when there's no way for them to initiate a fight. It has to be around the Chronosphere.
Yeah.
Like their team just has to calm down. Their lineup is still very strong, but they're just kind of throwing away these opportunities, and Beastmaster and Chen, they allow you to push so fast and punish so quickly.
There we go. We get back to everybody.
Dire's bottom tower
Mjolnir now up for the Faceless Void. That actually is a lot of damage between an Ember Spirit and a Pugna, who have like these multiple damage instances between Life Drain and the Flame Guard.
Under attack.
That active from the Mjolnir static charge. Really impactful in a team fight. Smoke up. What a beautiful rotation from Nip. If they can actually find him, they're just shy of being able to catch no one here. And if they caught him away from his team, it would have been perfect. But now he's a little bit close to them. They're going to run into each other immediately. The Guardian Graves taking off that stun, and an arrow beautifully placed is going to be able to lock down Skeeter. But he does have an Aegis, so they don't want to overcommit for this kill. They're just going to try and finish him off the old-fashioned way. Right-clicking him slowly but surely, but he does manage to jump himself away. Resetting a little bit. Epileptic Kid still looking for his Chronosphere, though. Skeeter's going to reset with a TP and come back into this fight. Maybe around the shrine, which is where Virtus Pro is moving towards. Skeeter immediately jumps in as they do manage to burst down that Witch Doctor almost immediately. Another arrow lands onto that Ember Spirit, but Virtus Pro, they're making their way out of here. It's now the team being able to finish up. Peter almost going down. They got the Roar on the Void. He might just go down. He's going to fall here with the BKB activated. Barely managed to get it off. Turn around. Time walks off a little bit of damage. Looking for the Chronosphere still, but he doesn't feel good about it. Skeeter still has that Aegis. Skeeter's just playing on the front lines, forcing action out of Virtus Pro. A time walk away just barely gets Epileptic Kid out of that damage areas, but Skeeter does end up
got Chronosphere here.
Just now he's going to go for the Chronosphere on top of them, but he got to lift. Oh no! Byver with the perfect positioning bursts down the Faceless Void. No one. He's going to be in trouble. The Dark Rift coming up from Resolution. They do have the heals of Guardian Greaves. They should be able to get out together. To the fountain they go.
And the tip. I mean, I really feel like just throw down the Chrono there.
Yeah.
As he's respawning in, he decided to walk all the way to the edge of the cliff.
You don't need to min-max.
No, you can just set it to the high ground. You're going to live. Your entire team's going to live. You're going to kill Skeeter. And everything's fine. But instead, he was so loath to use it at all. So no one's going to get quite low. Gets himself off of that.
Virtus Pro offering multiple breaths of fresh air here to this Ninjas in Pyjamas team that is now able to solve the high ground at 30 minutes. This is the timing that they were looking for 15 minutes ago, the timing that they kept on getting stymied. They will get Resolution here up into the high ground. Telekinesis backwards. He's just dead.
Again, they don't have the Chrono.
There is no shortage of damage when you have a Pugna.
I actually can't believe that VP are putting themselves in this position, and I mean, credit to NIP. Like, they're doing everything right, but they're being given so many opportunities.
Yeah. I mean,
just time and time again, you can see VP send one hero at a time. They're trying to min-max a little bit too much.
You go back to that last team fight where Ninjas in Pyjamas were so split.
Under attack.
But the Primal Roar, man, if they managed to burst him down, it would have been great there. But still, Epileptic Kid, as we're going to see here eventually.
It's when he decides to walk to the very edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
The fight at this point is still okay. Skeeter dies here. Set up for the Chrono for your range.
Have 3%
damage. Yeah. You don't have to time walk into that corner area.
Dire are scanning.
He can just even make one towards the edge a little bit just to make sure. There's no way for them to really save. They've got so much magic damage onto that Ember Spirit. If he gets Glimmer Caped and Decrepified, I feel like you still nuke him twice. You drop the Necrophos ulti and he goes down. And that fight looks completely different.
Well, they do have the Radiance for no one, and he's about to complete a Lotus Orb pretty soon here. Another way to be able to remove those chains, possibly block some of the life drain damage, or turn back a Primal Roar.
Yeah, and Epileptic Kid, it looks like he's so hesitant to use the Chrono at all. Like that engagement in mid, the one at the edge of the cliff. It feels like he's getting a little bit too gun-shy now.
It's not the first time he's been in this situation. We casted that game in the group stage where they were matched up against that Morphling Earthshaker combo, and he was playing Faceless Void. And he just, at some point in time in the game, he just looked a little lost, and you cannot afford, you know, your young carry player.
You need to calm down right now.
Yeah.
Reset yourself. The game is still winnable. The problem is, it probably doesn't feel that way.
Dire's top shrine.
Right now for VP, they've lost so many fights in a row, but they have to recognize why they're losing these fights. They're not sticking to what makes their lineup good. They're not playing behind their Chrono. Solo heroes are just walking in, trying to tank all that damage. It's not 15 minutes ago where that was possible. Your strength is in numbers and the threat of the Chronosphere.
And this is where your experienced voices come in and calm everybody down and say, hey guys, relax. You know, we've lost a lot of bad fights that we probably shouldn't have. But here's the problem that's happening. Here's how to fix it. Let's move forward. Because after all, the Dota Plus is still saying that VP have an advantage after Rex was taken.
I mean, that's
it's just barely up to like 51% now.
And the crazy part is, if we completely disregard like the momentum, and if you had just dropped us into this game, I would have said, oh well, VP still have a very good shot to win, but you can't really account for how much this Void is feeling that pressure right now.
Yeah. The tilt. This is very much going to be a mental game moving forward for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, because their lineup is still very good. They still have ways to win. They have the best overall teamfight spell in the game.
They just got the level 20 talent, which is massive.
It really just comes down to set up opportunities for yourself. The way that fight should look is Underlord gets gone on, your Necrophos is behind him, and then because NIP have to rush in, they'll lose their positioning, and this is where your Faceless Void will have time to play.
Oh, this is probably... I imagine this is good for Ninjas of Pyjamas. It's going to be a very fast Roshan. It was just 35 seconds after the potential respawn point. And Nip, who probably want to keep the pressure.
Yeah, they want to keep the pace of the game going. You don't want VP to have time to think about the game.
Yeah.
You want them to continue to get sloppy, take these weird fights. I'd like to even see them smoke towards this Roshan area.
Just try and take one of those fights just, you know, around the Roshan
like
pit.
What's going to happen instead? They're going to hold the high ground on the side of NIP. They spotted the invis with the Hawk. This is something I guess they just weren't thinking about. But instead, I think they realized what's happened. Going to reset into a little bit of farm. Save is going to get a D-ward off, which should alert both teams about the situation around Roshan pit. Deny on the DD by no one.
Save, just throwing out some arrows, and he can keep doing that time and time again just to make sure he has vision inside of the pit.
And on IP, they're setting up for it.
Snip it. And that's
Again,
why.
be together on the side of VP.
Gonna play. They're gonna go for Resolution. Does manage to get the Telekinesis Primal Roar combo. Got no one trying to save him out with the Lotus Orb. And there's gonna be your Chronosphere. Locking down the three of them. Resolution's gonna survive. In fact, he's gonna join beating down this Ember Spear. He tries to get off the pit, but doesn't actually control the Ember Spear in time. Instead, they'll be able to kill Gunner's Pugna as Virtus Pro now go for the fast retreat of the Dark Ritz. Four of them
Just gonna go Rosh right after this.
Yeah. They're going to buy back and immediately go for the Roshan, and Virtus Pro, with using the Chronosphere, may not be able to contest it. We'll see mass teleportation coming in.
And this is an unfortunate thing because you feel like you have to take the fight.
Arrow?
But I don't know how you're going to be able to win it as Skeeter. Going to go in first, the root.
Oh, he's got to be careful of that Pit of Malice, Skeeter. They are going to be able to do a lot of damage to no one with this life drain.
And the arrow connects temporarily, but PPD just going to try to get the D-ward off. They don't have Roar themselves.
Grab a Fire Blast.
Poke.
Decent amount of poke damage on the Epi Kid, but he's able to just time block it off.
Both teams just posturing for this Rosh. But the cooldowns will come up sooner on NIP.
And that's why they're just going to go maybe poking Roshan here.
Yeah.
Maybe tanking the arrow. Or Peter, Resolution is going to be the one showing himself. This time around, they do get the Lotus Orb off before a lot of these spells are used to force Staff away, but Life Drain, it's going to suck him dry. Resolution falls. He does have a buyback, though, and Virtus Pro are heavily invested here in being able to defend this. They do manage to get a lucky bash. He's in the arrow. They're going to be able to get a lot of control here. Defensive Force Staff and the Sleight of Fist. Skeeter is able to get away into the river, and BKB was used by Epileptic Kid. He's trying to deal with his Pugna Ward that is just harassing no one in solo constantly in that back line. Oh, Dagon Blast, that's not going to be quite enough. Solo will survive thanks in part to no one's heals. Virtus Pro maintain control of the Roshan pit.
And IP really want this. They expended the buyback on a Gunner.
This is very rapidly turning into a fight, not just for Aegis and Cheese, but potentially for Elena Barracks with these buybacks being expended on both sides.
Yeah, but NIP, they don't want to just blind walk into it. Gonna wait. They really need the BKB up on the Ember Spirit if they want to take these fights. VP sort of in a similar situation, but as soon as Void shows himself bottom, I think they're going to go back into the pit.
And that's why Void, as soon as he shows himself a little bit too long, is going to TP in. He's got his Chronosphere ready to go.
And I think what NIP wants in this situation is actually to bait them into a fight. It's not easy for them to just hit this Rosh with their Ember Spirit Pugna course.
It's so hard for them to just take Roshans by themselves.
What they want is VP to overcommit and get a little bit too anxious, come down. They really want them to come down the stairs.
Yeah. And simultaneously, Virtus Pro have also been trying to kind of bait fights with the Resolution on the front lines. Don't think he can do that anymore, though. He's been punished for that one too many times, and this time around with no buyback.
In that previous Chrono 2, not to just like dogpile on him, but it was that hesitation where he decided to go for the Ember Spirit and then he switched targets into the Pugna.
Yeah.
I feel like you just get rid of the Ember Spirit. He's the real threat right now in these team fights. You see how much damage that Skeeter puts out. Just get rid of him. You have enough physical damage. It's not like this Ember is all-encompassing and tanky, but if you give him that little bit of wiggle room, he will get out of those sticky situations, as both teams still posturing around Roche, but it looks like NIP are going to give up on that pursuit.
At this point, they may just have to wait and reset a little bit. See if they can get a pick off on Virtus Pro to finally break them entirely and go for the Roshan. But VP are not going to split up here. They're going to stay together despite the split push pressure that is coming out from a Beastmaster and Ember Spirit. They're going to go with the Moonlight Shadow, work their way through behind this mid lane. They know, they saw the Ember Spirit, that little bit of animation where he returns to his remnant.
They're going to scan.
They know he's over here somewhere, but they don't want to go into that Radiant Triangle high ground area. That's just a bit too far.
I like Gunner's move right now. He's going to push out this top lane. He wants to force pressure so that VP reset their position. This is really scary for NIP right now, right? Because they have no vision. They're not really sure what they're doing. So what he wants to do is blast out this next wave. This will force somebody from the side of VP up. And it sort of just resets the map. It allows NIP to walk the map once again.
Gunner has a Dagon 3 with a Veil of Discord and the Decrepify. That's so much magic amplification to the heavy amount of burst. They got to be careful. Any sort of disables they get on the Faceless Void, they could still burst him down despite a BKB and a Linken's on him.
What's sort of hurting NIP right now is their inability to Roche very quickly.
Yeah.
Because now no one can take his time, go all the way top, push that lane out, and still make it in time for whatever Roche fight might happen.
Epigid just using his static charge to push in the creep wave while he farms up neutrals. Getting closer and closer to that nullifier that will really help him out against the Decrepify of the Pugna, which is going to be one of the better counters against a good Chronosphere. If Pugna's not inside, just Decrepifying whatever target this Void wants to go for. It's going to be your best option. Ninjas Pyjamas, they see this as an opportunity strike. And Roche is showing himself into the Acer, and they immediately manage to grab Epigid Rising winning here. The Acer and the Ore Staff away is not going to be good enough. What a massive kill there. And is he going to buy back to defend this Roshan? He does have the Chronosphere.
I'm so surprised. Going down into that area without the rest of your team behind you, bounty rune, the 40-minute bounty runes especially are not free.
Yeah.
You know that NIP are playing around that area. The two lanes are pushed in. They still want to be around Roche.
That rune anyway.
Yeah, the risk to reward ratio is like completely off there.
Yeah. Well, Moonlight Shadow. Arrow coming out. If they get the right kind of initiation, they can bring this Void in.
Yeah, Void still has the Chronosphere, but
in Ninjas and Pyjamas, what they need to do, they have to wait until Nip have like gotten Roshan low enough that they have to commit to Roshan and not just back up.
exactly.
But it's a little bit hard to maintain vision inside of pit. They're actually going to start that fight with a telekinesis. There's going to be your buyback coming out from the Void, and that's why Ninjas Pyjamas immediately retreat. They didn't bring Roshan low enough that VP can just take it for themselves quickly.
There's no there's no Roar though. They do have Chronosphere, so they
the
should
Roar
feel a little
just
bit
came
stronger.
back up, actually. Universe, it's such a short cooldown. He's actually ready to go. They just need to be patient. They're bleeding VP out of their buybacks.
Yes. You just wait, reset the game once again, hope that somebody from VP makes the same play, gets a little bit too anxious around that Roshan pit, because NIP don't really want to take this Roche.
Yeah.
This is going to be a bait every single time.
They're going to be able to find the Captain solo, quickly take him out of the equation.
So now you move
Smoke
into
up
the
for
pit.
that.
Just be a little bit patient, see what VP are willing to commit.
Deceptive rune of
See if they can
invisibility.
force another buyback out of Virtus Pro. The 5 position, though, just not that big of a deal, so maybe Nip are a little timid.
Yeah, they really want them to come down.
After all, you still have to better control the river, right? With such good initiation, you can keep on playing off these power runes. This time around, it's a double damage been activated for Skeeter and an arcane rune in the bottle.
they're gonna wait solo out.
How long have we been standing around this Roshan pit for now? It feels like a solid 5 or 6 minutes now, and this is just going to be the game-defining fight.
Yes, you can see NIP. I mean, their strategy somehow it's working, even though I feel like it should be very transparent to VP. It's like, we can't Roche, but you know what? If you just keep walking into this pit area, we'll kill you over and over again. And I feel like they've just gotten like 3 free pickoffs in a row in that area.
Yeah.
And they just hold their own high ground, and then VP's like, I guess we have to rush down, see what happens.
A combination of this control of the Roshan pit mixed in with the split pushing they're able to do with, you know, Chen, Ember, Spirit, Beastmaster. They have so many good options there.
Yeah, and VP is so afraid. Whereas NIP, I mean, they can always just throw out Hawks. They always know what the situation of Roche is.
Yeah.
Whereas I think VP is always afraid. They don't know if they've smoked into there, if they're getting a little bit too cocky by being fanned out.
Fresh items here. BKB actually for no one. That's how problematic this Pugna counterpick has been. You don't see BKB Necrophos too often except for this kind of matchup and maybe like a Leshrac or something.
Yeah, I remember I watched some cast that I think Matt did, where he was saying maybe on his Twitch channel or something that like getting BKB on Necro is like the ultimate bait.
Yeah. I mean, not being able to use your Ghost Shroud just...
It's so rough.
It feels pretty bad. But, you know, in this sort of lineup, right, there's just not going to be that much right-clicking being done anyway. I like the gem pickup. I'm not sure when Save grabbed that, but really important to start taking away this Hawk Vision whenever they can. Because it is the biggest advantage that NiP have. Why they've been able to get these, you know, pick off after pick off. Now, Virtus Pro, are they going to go for a smoke here? Solo takes it off the courier, but not going to use it just yet. They have side lanes to deal with right now. Both top and bottom lane are being heavily pushed in. Resolution will deal with a wave that's farthest away from the Roshan pit because he can always... He's got a TP scroll as well as that Dark Rift.
BKB trying to go for a Hex. Feels like they need a non-Chronosphere solution to starting fights.
That'll lead into some pretty good disable on that Ember Spirit. Get the right Pit of Malice on him, break his link inside. Then the pit grabs him again.
Never refuse gold given.
We are getting very close to 25s at this rate. Void's about to be 24. Necrophos is already 24. Ember Spirit already has his level 25 with the Remnant Charge restore time. So an Aghanim Scepter would be super nice for him at some point.
Shadows take us.
He's going to be pulled back into the Chen as they are all top lane right now. But Virtus Pro, they know Gunner's here. They just saw that blast. This is a great position for them to be able to get a crucial pick off. But Gunner has already backed himself away. Virtus Pro missed their opportunity. In fact, even showing themselves with Resolution TPing back over the Shrine is going to be able to grab Peter. With Gunner pushed away, now they want to try and force the fight up to top.
And they're just going to walk back towards mid. Gunner.
He's still going to get caught. Yule Scepter, thanks to that gem, he will be able to see Gunner through that Glimmer Cape. They're just going to be able to chain stun him from here. Reaper Scythe is going to actually finish off Gunner because of all those heals, but eventually they will get that kill. A buyback is available for him, but he's dead for 2 minutes. So pretty much no doubt that VP is going to be able to force that out of him. They have to deal with their side lanes first, though.
I don't actually know how much they can take advantage of this.
You think they're just not capable of doing Roshan?
If you get into the wrong type of Roche fight, it's so rough for your team.
Yeah.
Maybe now with the DD.
That's true. DD does change things quite a bit.
Yeah, with the DD, I think you push out bottom and maybe you go for it.
Yeah. After all, there's like no real rush, right? Like normally you see a hero date, you're like, oh guys, we gotta force things that way we can get this buyback out of him. But
80 seconds
he said for 2 minutes. You could spend a solid minute pushing out your side lanes, getting all that looking good, and then force him with the buyback in, you know, like those last 30 or 40 seconds. Looks like they're gonna be doing exactly what you suggested, Blitz. Double damage in the bottom. Scam activated. A stolen Firestorm. That's actually going to make things really difficult.
They want VP to feel like they're all in committed for this Roche.
Yeah, and I think even just the Firestorm by itself is enough to force VP back.
I like this decision a lot though from Void, saving that DD rune.
Yeah. Oh,
He wants it for the fight more than the Roche.
Yeah. They don't want to have to deal with this longer, drawn-out fight. They want to be able to get inside of the Nip base right now. With this smoke into the Moonlight Shadow, they need a Yule Scepter. They need to be able to find one of these heroes. They run into the Ember Spirit, but he has the Lincoln, so they're not going to be able to kill him.
They know that PPD's up here.
Maybe they get PPD. He's going to try and TP out, but the arrow nails him perfectly. Still, though, it's a 5 position. They really wanted a big core pick.
They bought enough time for Gunnar.
Yep, he did not have to blow his buyback. Maybe Peter may have to do that, but I just doubt VP's going to be able to actually go for Roche this point. Still, it is like the game just being drawn out. Solo just running down river like that.
Maybe they could have still Roche. They sent the Underlord to deal with that.
Yeah, man, they still had that double damage.
They're playing as though pretty much everybody on their team has taken a shot at just going by themselves down that river.
Yeah, how many times are we gonna die right outside the Roshan pit? Like, guys, we've been talking about Roshan for like the last 10 minutes. Both teams are gonna play around this area nonstop.
Yeah, it really feels like, aside from VP going down there, I haven't really seen the map move too much.
They're going to be able to take away some vision. Oh, Epileptic Kid thought he had an opportunity. He's still going to go for the Chronosphere onto Gunnar with a long-range arrow coming in. Gunnar will fall. Primal Roar going out. Okay, force down. Alive. It's going to get better. There's an activatable shrine. Gunner's going to be okay. In fact, he's going to turn around and kill Epi Kid. Oh, he's dead for 2 minutes.
Oh my...
He has no buyback because of gold. 50 seconds resolution. He's going to use his BKB and turn and fight Biver here. And I'm sure Nip are thinking, what's going on here?
And I love that they didn't give up on Gunnar. Pop the Lincolns.
Oh, telekinesis mid-leap too. What a grab from Biver. Once again, he gets the clutch telekinesis that may just break open the game for them. They're going to buy back immediately on save. He needs 15 gold on the Faceless Void. Nip are kind of playing like he does have it. And that VP are just going to be really reluctant to force it. They're only going to use it once Nip are actually inside the pit. So eventually this Void will get it. Level 25 now for the Necrophos, that 0.8 Heartstopper Aura addition. So a lot more damage over time for them.
Both teams just posturing around. And we've played the same side of the map for so long.
Okay, another telekinesis, another pullback. They're gonna jump on no one. Immediately trying to commit to him, but he's got a hard Guardian Greaves and a Lotus Orb and a BKB. He is tanky, little bird. Ember Spear going back in as the BKB is about to wear out. The Linkage will protect him from the paralyzing cast. Death Ward being used there. There's something small, but this is a big pickup, and they can actually get Gunnar here. Another Yules into another defensive force staff, giving away from the arrow time to the Primal Roar. Onto no one. Once again, they're trying to get this kill. 30 seconds left. They're actually going to go for the Dark Bridge play, trying to get everybody out of here. And it looks like they may all survive. They all get out, and the Faceless Void's buyback will hold for a little longer. 20 seconds left. Can Ninjas and Pyjamas finish off a Roshan in this small little window? It doesn't look like it. VP is already back TPing onto their shrine and getting some control over that Roshan pit once again.
Yeah, and time after time, they can't really do Roche themselves. The best they can do is bait VP into these positions. And if I'm VP, at some point you have to say, like, guys, just be together. Please, we don't have to make these solo plays. This is the only way that we're losing this game. It's happened like 8 times now.
You know what I love about Dota for like the last year now? This can't keep happening. Somebody's got to make it stop.
I've never seen 2 teams fight around the Roche pit for so long without either of them being able to take it.
I mean, Solo's the captain. He's supposed to be the reasonable voice saying exactly what you're saying, Blitz, but he's the one gets caught out trying to push that mid lane. Fortunately, it's not a hero that, because he's dead, Nip are going to feel super confident about going for that Roshan. But what I love about Dota right now is that these level 25s, the game goes late, and kind of all bets are off right now.
All right, so they know that the Void is just farming.
Yeah.
Trying to set up for this. Looks like he's going to...
have to find a way to be able to break through his Linkage, and they do. Get the instant telekinesis on top of that. The Primal Roar, Epileptic Kid, he's down. Now they're going to be able to grab more. It's going to be the Mirana up next. Change up. They're immediately going to where Nip may have overextended themselves. They need to be able to get a sick Chronosphere out of this one. Epileptic hit. Gonna try and chase down Gunner right now. Gunner leading them away. In fact, going deeper into VP's side of the map and TPing out underneath the trees. VP
gonna get out for free?
He got nothing out of that.
At this point, I'm not really sure what VP's play has got to be, because if you commit too hard to the Roshan pit, you know that everyone's got buyback on the side of NIP, and all it takes is one bad fight, and NIP will say, we don't even need Rosh, we'll just go down mid.
I think they may just have to play for high ground. If Nip make out like a serious commitment, they just 5-man into the pit right now, I'm not sure if they can take that kind of fight. I mean, you've only got one Chronosphere, and they've got 2 lives on everybody. We'll have to see what VP does here.
And I was just abusing the tempo of the game. Like, both sides were just showing, like, you push the lane into us, we push the lane into you. They make that smoke rotation around. Void doesn't expect it because he just thinks that they'll be back mid. But at some point, somebody was going to make that long wrap and just chance it.
An update on some of these level 25s. We've got the Nether Blast damage from the Pugna. We do have the Beastmaster who went for the hot cooldown. You can see how all important the vision is in this game. The backtrack on the Void. Not going to be able to defend their shrine, which has been so key for helping them get to this Roshan pit quickly. After a Dark Rift retreat, that's now gone. Another opportunity for Nip to finally, maybe claim the H's and G's for themselves at double damage. That's just one more opportunity. We've got the Aghanim Scepter on the Ember Spirits. He still has his Maelstrom in his backpack, so he could probably go for a consumable and get another item on top of all this. And after all that, all those buybacks and deaths, finally, Dota Plus is saying, yeah, Nip actually have the higher win percentage. They haven't had that the entire game until just about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Once they forced the buybacks, I'd assume.
Yeah.
That was the first time they took over 50%.
Solar Crest coming in soon for save. Just these little helping items for the Faceless Void. And we almost have level 25 on the Underlord as well, which I'm presuming he's going to go for that extra Pit of Malice root duration.
Never refuse gold.
Yeah, they really lack lockdown right now. I mean, once they can get inside the base, they win a team fight. They will take towers very quickly, and this time it's going to be save. He used a Solar Crest, and that's going to alert them. They saw it with the ward as a result. They had no idea otherwise.
It's these little plays, man, that can really screw up your smoker. In this case, Moonlight Shadow King. I do appreciate the fact that VP is trying to play aggressively despite not having buybacks, because it is the most likely way for them to catch Nip out.
Yes. Because so far it's just been somebody gets picked off. Oh,
there it is. He's going to jump in, go for the Chronosphere. That's going to be able to lock down Gunner. And the arrow to be able to follow up. Being of this, now the Reaper side coming in. That does knock down Gunner finally, but he does have a buyback. Meanwhile, the bottom lane is pushing out. VP is trying to retreat right now. They do have the Dark Rift. They can use it now to try and save out no one. Is the rest of the team going to be able to get inside the pit? At the same time, they tried to go for Force Staff to see if they can get the Necrophos outside of that range. Somebody's going to get caught by this Ember Spirit, though. That is Eater with the double damage. No matter how many leap charges you have, it's not going to be enough to get away from this Ember. So one hero with no buyback down for 70 seconds. That is enough for Ninjas of Pyjamas to go for the pit. After all, there's no Chronosphere for 95 seconds. And VP, it's looking like they're just going to give this one up. But no one daring to push in this mid lane is going to draw some attention. Outside of the Roshan pit, a really good Pit of Malice comes out from Resolution.
They want to chase
but
this.
the Ember Spirit can certainly chase this. After all, he still has that Arcane Rune. He has so many remnants to be able to throw down. But at the same time, no one's so tanky. He's got 4,000 HP. He's regenning up non-stop. He's got this Lotus Orb, but BKB's up in 5 more seconds. They can't kill him. No one's positioned. Just actually killed their Roshan attempt, maybe. We're going to see BKB activated by Resolution. Does manage to get that Pit of Malice immediately removed by the Lotus Orb. Peter's trying to get out of here. They're focusing on a 5 position right now. They can't even kill him. They're going to be able to chain up Resolution, trying to just keep him from retreating.
no one's pushing forward. He's got the DD rune. Root again, they're pinging that area. They do have the roar up. And only 10 seconds left for the Mirana to respawn.
Top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Chronosphere up in 35 seconds. He's trying to get an Aghanim Scepter because he knows that this cooldown is just way too long, way too abusable this late into the game when buybacks are a thing. And I'm surprised to say this, but it looks like he's going to have his chrono up before Nip can actually get Roshan.
Again, they can't Rosh.
They can't Rosh.
It's so hard for them to
It's
Rosh.
57 minutes in. This is how incapable this lineup is of taking Roshan. Most tempo lineups have a Rosh taking mechanism. I guess they have Beastmaster, but that's really it. Universe gonna offer a refresher on his Beastmaster. Double Prime Aurora action. Oh, they managed to get on top of Skeeter. Got him with the Chronosphere, the Reaper Sight. He is dead for 135 seconds. Could this VP have forced down a buyback out of Ninjas in Pajamas?
He did not learn the lesson.
He did not.
That rune is not worth it. Not when your team isn't there, ready to back you up. Everybody's missing on the map. That's twice now that we've seen the carries from either side die because of that.
Well, a good steal by Piper. Once again, getting the Firestorm.
Yeah, that'll deter the rush for sure.
Yeah.
And they're pinging the area, which I think is more important to hold than just walking in the Roche pit again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We're soon, I'm pretty sure Piper's going to go for the Telekinesis cooldown. That is a massive upgrade to your control.
I don't know if they'll know about this move, by the way.
Smoke up?
Yeah, because the Ember hasn't bought back or anything like that, so...
Radiant's bottom
Smoke's
tower.
going to break. They're going to throw the Firestorm inside the pit. See if they can get some ideas here. Resolution's going to take a lot of damage on his way out here. Gets a little bit low. He's instantly going to pop his BKB as soon as they use the Decrepify Gunner. Well, they're going to use the Chronosphere to make sure he dies here with the Reaper Sight coming in. It's not quite enough damage. All these heals. How does he survive through all this? He's Decrepify going up. Finally, he does burn down. He doesn't have a buyback. The Hammer Spears into the back line. Trying to finish off solo. Does manage to get him. Saves up next, but his BKB is worn out. He has to be careful. That pin of balance. His Linkens is broken. Arrow coming in. Dodge with a sleight of fist. Does manage to get away. Skeeter barely survives. Dodging a bullet there. And Dark Rift going out. VP, go for the reset. Everybody group up, guys. 4 versus 4.
And they're out.
Control over the Roshan pit continues.
They have to lay everything into Gunner, but they weren't able to get any of their spells off. Universe just went down so quickly.
Pressure for Resolution. Overlapping Pit of Malices. That actually sounds very dangerous.
More than that, the double Hex,
Double Hex.
double BKB.
Potentially Dark Rift out at this fight again if they want to. Something Nip may not expect. They're going to start things off. Firestorm going out.
Regeneration.
Regen, nothing massive. Bottom lane.
Still a gold issue for this Void. That's why they don't want to commit this.
Yeah. He does have buyback now off of time, but as you said, a gold issue, 770 gold away from buyback. And the Hawk keeps on running in, keeps on getting vision of the fact that Nip do not need to be around this Roshan pit right now. It's not that low.
I can't believe it. Like, of all the spells to steal, just to delay this game, the Hawk finally goes down. The arrow.
Oh, that was a little close. He's got to make sure no Chronosphere. That's it. Fiverr, they're tired of all the shenanigans with this Firestorm. They're going to make sure he falls, but he does have buyback. And now there's no Chronosphere. Nip, can they tank the fight without Chronosphere? They're just not going to go for it at all.
Especially not with Gunner out of the picture still.
Yeah.
They let him do it like 8 times.
Yeah.
I can understand why Byron was starting to feel really cocky.
Maybe just got a bit complacent. And finally, Roshan's dead. 61 minutes in. It's been 20 minutes of non-stop Roche posturing, but he is dead.
The second Roche of the game is
Long live Roshan. Aegis and Cheese is out. We got Aegis on Epileptic Kid and Cheese for no one. Now that they're all 6 slotted and don't have...
one of the latest second Roshans I've ever seen.
Yeah. The refresher in Universe's backpack. He's going to go for the kill on Resolution. Triple running in. Already down to half health. The Dagon helps, and that's it. Resolution. What is he going to do here? Because his 2 cores are still pushing in the mid lane.
Looks like they're going to put him in a position where... looks like they wanted him to buy back, but maybe they're just recognizing Rubik. It's about to respawn. There's no real reason to try to all in there. Just get your own buybacks up. Now it's NIP that's in a position where they don't have 3 core buybacks. I mean, 3 core buybacks is so big. They're not going to want to play aggressively anymore.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Epileptic Kid, he almost has enough to be able to buy the Aghanim's Blessing. And then he can pick up another item.
This goes to show you like how favored VP's lineup should have been.
Yeah.
From a draft perspective.
They are back in the win percentage, 54 to 46.
That's unbelievable.
That's what it says right now.
Dire's bottom shrine is under
Another
attack.
insane game, another insane series, it seems. Maybe not for the reasons you expected. 10,000 gold. That's what no one has right now. He can start buying out moon shards for people.
Could also get the blessing and get another item.
Yep. What would you like to see for him? Another, like, scythe? Some additional control?
A second hex wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. After all, they already have... oh, no, they don't actually have Shivas. Resolution. He was going to go for that once. I think that was before he decided Refresher was the play. Shiva's still an item that they don't have, but I don't know how much it helps against this heavy magic damage lineup. And despite having Aegis and Cheese, they're not actually playing for the map right now because
I kind of want them to, though.
Dead.
Once Rezo's up, like he's about to respawn in 6 seconds. You could make your move a little bit sooner than this because you got Aegis.
Yeah. Start getting some control. After all, you still have 3 minutes for both the Ember Spirit and the Beastmaster buybacks. If there's any time to close out the game, it could be right now.
ED bottom, maybe?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's just summoned one for Virtus Pro.
I wanted drama.
Drama, it's going to be. Drama is on the menu here at 64 minutes in. This game 1 between these two teams. Both of them playing for survival. ESL 1 Hamburg. Oh, hey. We have an Aghanim Scepter for Peter.
This is the most armed I think I've ever just seen him.
Yep. So he's now able to take some Black Dragons. That's why it's sitting bottom lane, constantly pushing that lane in. So just add in even more annoying split push on top of what already was an Ember Spirit Chen Beastmaster lineup. He also has level 25, by the way, and that's why those Hand of God heals have been doing so much. 950 heal.
I'm honestly kind of down to see like what the third Roche looks like.
For me.
It is going to be a scythe for no one. He was considering moon shards before that, but consuming your Aghanim Scepter, getting some additional control against this Ember Spirit, it can't hurt.
That's a hard pickup by the Pugna.
Dire are scanning.
And just no net worth lead whatsoever. They're going to be able to find Peter. Just freely throw out the Chronosphere. After all, it's only a 60-second cooldown. This late into the game, any hero being dead for this long.
Push down mid.
Advantage.
Are they going to do it?
You want to push right away? You want to wait for like 30 seconds till Chronosphere's up?
You have to wait because bottom lane has been pushed out. So now Rezo's got to stop this by himself.
And it's a Siege Wagon push too, so this is actually going to be a lot of damage on the tier 3.
He's being really careful because no one showed himself.
Yep.
He's afraid that maybe there's a roar on top of him and he just gets bursted in front of his base and he has to use buyback. That'd be the worst case scenario, but as a result, he's just going to lose that tower.
Bad reputation.
These little things build up. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have just entered into the longest game of ESL 1 Hamburg. Yeah, the longest one before Liquid versus Nip in the group stage was 66 minutes and 20 seconds. Something about this tournament, man, just had some long games. Level 25 for the Witch Doctor with the Aghanim Scepter that he has. He's got the Death Ward damage that can actually have a real impact. See, that's why I love Dota going late game, because I feel like I actually don't understand a whole lot. You know, there's so many new things in there. You just don't know what you're actually gonna see. What's gonna be impactful? What's gonna win the fight? $260 damage per hit, and it has True Strike and bounces.
That's pretty
You get the right kind of Chronosphere with this Death Ward.
And all we've really seen for the last like 30 minutes is just the solo Chronos.
Yeah.
NIP have done a very good job of splitting up.
And NP, I mean, I think this is a great read. They just keep on playing in this bottom lane, right? It takes them so far away from the Radiant base. It may be an opportunity for you to get a pick off. And failing that, you're slowly chipping away at a range barracks. And NIP, they made the read. That the rotation was coming over from all of VP. Resolution could not afford to get picked off, so he calls his team over. Let's clean this out. Viper does walk away with the Pit of Malice stolen, though. Who is actually full up on items right now. He's even got a Lotus Orb in his backpack.
As foretold. Invisibility.
They do have some vision up here in the top lane. That's why they're kind of rotating up here. They would love to be able to catch Skeeter as he's split pushing. At this point, I wouldn't even mind him getting like an Aeon disc for the Ember Spears just to deal with the Chronosphere or something.
Yeah, and it's actually impressive, like, the fact that they're avoiding each other this hard.
Yeah.
One team goes one direction, the other team goes the other direction.
All of VP come up to the top lane, and hey, there's Gunnar pushing out bottom, being a nuisance.
PP's gonna see the Underlord TP himself back. Gunnar's gonna reset the map again, and now VP have to push out this bottom lane before they can do anything. And round we go.
It just doesn't stop. Here at ESL1, our last level 25 is gonna be Save. Still not there. He's the only one who hasn't maxed out on levels.
That's really what they're waiting for, if I'm honest.
Yeah, let's get the triple shot arrow. Just starts hoping for some 5-second arrows.
And they're all so afraid that they can't really allow one single hero to push out the lanes.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that VP should still win this game, despite everything that's happened, all the madness.
I mean, the last like 3 minutes of like nothing happening, the total plus win probability's just been edging its way back to the 50% line.
It has been surprisingly correct.
All right, we're gonna try and make some faster moves here. We're gonna use our first aggressive Dark Rift, and this may catch Nip out because they just saw those heroes at bottom lane. 70-minute bounty roots are going to go for him. He's going to be caught. Immediately, Sight Device up. They do have the Nullifier to be able to deal with the Aeon Disc in time, so they should be able to finish him off. Listen, heal coming out, 4 staff away, another Scythe coming out, and there's no way Gunnar gets out of this one alive with the Decrepify. He will stall his death, but eventually he will fall. Now the question is, anybody else going to get caught? TP out from Biver. He's good. One hero down.
The rune of illusion.
One by one.
Skeeter just gonna check all the runes out, and
To teach.
if he decides to go for his bounty rune, he might just pay for this. But the Hawk's gonna see him, he's gonna get out, makes the right call. Universe
Dire structures
also in the
are
corner here, gonna get TP'd out.
I don't know what else to like. Some of these heroes I'm looking at, I'm like, well, what else are we building? There's still the Moonshard possibilities.
Everyone can get Moonshard.
Like Faceless Void.
You can get an Aghanimus Blessing on Rezo too. He'll give his team a ton of damage.
But how do you upgrade your damage on an Ember Spirit at this point? You're just going to Mind Rapier at some point? He's going to replace his Phase Boots with Boots of Travel. Okay. But at one point you're like, maybe I should just become a physical damage right-click him. Try and one-shot some people.
I don't know, everyone's BKBs are pretty low.
Yeah.
So this build isn't even that bad.
That's true. That is the power of this late game build between the charge restore time and the Aghanims and the fact that BKBs are naturally going to be low.
Now the lane's been pushed out. The VP have to reveal themselves.
Radiant's top tower is under
Top lane's
attack.
being pushed. And the war of attrition continues.
Listen, I don't care what anybody says at this point. VP, the longer the game goes, they're going to get the advantage. You want to know why, Blitz?
Why?
Infinite scaling. We
That is
forgot
true.
about that.
The Underlord has infinite scaling.
He has 141 permanent
And then you get the
damage.
Aghanims Blessing, which if we click the Roche, what's it
True.
got?
It does
got the Aghanims Blessing?
It has the Aghanims Blessing. I don't believe it applies to the permanent damage, though. I think it's just the temporary damage.
Radiant are scanning.
I'm not 100% certain on that,
I'm okay with that too.
but that works too. they do actually get it, it's actually, he can get some damage.
This is the fastest Roche of the game.
This is happening very quickly. Ninja's Pyjamas are nowhere positioned to be able to stop this. Despite the fact that they have this Beastmaster that have the Hawks.
Yeah, they might not know about this.
They
It's
did
too
not
late.
give themselves the opportunity to defend this Roche.
It's taking a little bit of time, but Wild Wing
It's
River.
over. The Hawk's gonna reveal the fact that, oh, hey guys, Roshan's dead.
And Rezo does indeed take it.
All right, well, now he's got that AoE bonus for his allies with the Atrophy Aura. Now, when they do win a team fight, they can demolish the base, but I think that was kind of going to be the case anyway.
Yes, they are. When you're this farmed, it's just a matter of getting into the base and winning a team fight.
Everybody has buyback. And just one pick off. Resolution trying to set up with his Moonlight Shadow. Push out the bottom lane. He has the Dark Rift up, so he can join his allies. They do see Peter. Peter gonna be in trouble here. He does have an Ethereal Blade to try and protect himself, but he has to dodge the arrow first. Now it's gonna be psyched up. The Lotus Orb, though, returning onto no one, meaning there's not a whole lot of damage left. E-Blade going out, and he gets away. And also, quite problematic, Biber stole Death Ward. And he also has the Aghanim Scepter blessing. So, another Moonlight Channel. Let's just keep it going. We've got the 70 seconds off cooldown, so they can just keep just trying to assault them.
Or at least they're pretending like they're going first so that they can
They're going to be able to try and get the kill on the Gunner. He's got the mini Doom combo. Epi Kid should be able to get this kill. Oh, the Decrepify. Can he actually blink himself away in time? Blinks up. He gets out. And are we going to TP away? Is there going to be an arrow? No. He gets pulled back by the Chen.
That Chen heal does so much work.
It does. It's so massive. He needs a Holy Locket, man. It's 950 heal. This could be the one game in competitive history where you can go Holy Locket. Psyched up. They're going to try and make their initiation onto Peter once again. It's not the hero that they really are aching for a kill, but they'll take whatever they can get at this point, especially when they end him with the Reaper's Scythe, and he's down for 130 seconds.
That's fine. Getting kills at this point, or buybacks, maybe you can force one of them. They've got the Aegis. They're just going to walk down into mid. They're going to challenge NIP to a fight.
Jump forward, trying to go for more. The Nullifier coming out right as Pugna jumps away. The Primal War
Counter
laid
rush.
out. It does. Death Ward goes, but they're still going to be able to control the Death Ward. Immediately takes out this Void. Can they get the control of him in the second line? He's going to come back, immediately activates his BKB. He turns around Chronospheres with the Dark Ward. This time out from Solo. He puts Zaxa inside the Chronosphere. Doesn't do the damage, but Epileptic Kid does. A stolen Chronosphere out from Viper. They got to get the hell out of here. Get away with the Dark Ridge, but oh, Nip, they can't stop him. There's just not enough Force Staffs in the world to prevent
Catch us if you can.
away. Catch us if you can, indeed.
You cannot. NIP, I mean, their decision to walk around that Roche pit for so long, their inability to take it themselves. I mean, we kept talking about it. PP, even though they've messed up so many different times,
Yeah.
their lineup should be favored here.
And they've got the extra 233 bonus damage on the Underlord because they got a kill. So they're going to be much stronger in this next fight. They have Chronosphere in 10 seconds. This can just keep on snowballing. Haste Rune for the Void. He's going to try and check out the Bounty Rune.
They're going to go for it again. They want to make an aggressive play. Epileptic Kid does have the Haste Rune. Their lanes are in an okay position. Rezo's going to push it out. They want to try to find one straggler, but NIP, without any buybacks on some of these heroes, like they do have it on the Ember, but none on the Beastmaster, and that's pretty massive.
This 30-second cooldown on the Moonlight Shadow. BP is just trying to abuse it. Oh, he got hit by an arrow! The defensive force staff will get him out of the pit of Malak. Him out of the Chronosphere. Can Gunner help him survive with the Decrepify, with the Reaper's Scythe actually coming down. The opponent Chrono coming up from Biver. He actually stole Death Ward on top of that. He's his own combo, but he doesn't want to use it just yet. He needs a little bit more control. The Ember Spirit's going to try and jump in. No one going to be the target here, but he's so tanky, so maybe his Death Ward does so much damage. The help with the Ghost Scepter, a little bit more damage, and finally Solo will fall. They do have a Dark Rip, but it seems like VP, they're content to turn. They're content to try and kill Biver here. Decrepify helping him out. They have a force staff. They need to be able to get him up into the high ground somewhere. The arrow arrow doesn't land, but the Reaper's Scythe will. Another death and another buyback coming out from Ninjas in Pajamas. They only have one left. That's Gunner, the Pugna. He's the only one with a second life.
And they should just back themselves up away.
Arrow revealing the ward on the high ground. Eventually, they'll get it. Observer ward worth 400 gold. Because we're well past the hour marker.
And Gunner might just get caught here. Does have a blink.
They are going to get Gunner. That buyback, it's going to have to be used. Now, Nip on their last life for every single hero. And a tier 2 and a base about to be assaulted.
And they've got the buyback on the side of VP. They can just come in with their boots of travel. At this point, they should know they are so heavily favored. Look at how much damage everybody does. Epileptic Kid can get any core at this point, and it'll be worth it.
Oh yeah, they're just chunking down this tower. This Atrophy Aura doing so much for them. They do have the pin of Malice leading out on the Viper. Viper Reaper Sight immediately used on him, and the heal goes out. He's actually going to survive for, you know, Epileptic Kid. He's in trouble. Managed to pop up the BKB, the Time Walker, the 3-man Chronosphere, leading out to a defensive Chrono from Viper. Doesn't really stop the damage coming out, but maybe the heals from the Gunner. No, he can't actually save it support or Universe. They both end up falling, and now it's going to be a 3 versus 5. And time to heal, but VP, they are just demolishing buildings. They are a wrecking ball. The power of the Atrophy Aura with the Aghanim Scepter. There is no time. Nip cannot stall this any longer. They have to somehow get in front of these buildings and defend. 3 versus 5 as the first initiation on a Viper. He's already dead. Couldn't even get a reaction out of Gunner in time to be able to get off that decrepit. Fight tries to lay some damage out onto no one, but they're just going to die confounded at this point in time. Finish off these heroes once and for all. Gunner's now dead. A happy Chronosphere for Epileptic Kid as Virtus Pro will wipe Nip inside of their own fountain and finally call an end to this game 1.
And a casual hour later as Reza looks quite relieved that they were able to escape with that win.
No one. Oh, just so happy they pulled it off finally. Well, they got the victory that we were talking about, you know, 60 minutes ago, that it looked like,
30 seconds to battle.
A gift from the night.
The battle begins. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Really now, you should have seen that coming.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Arcane power. First blood, and here come the sharks.
You have learned nothing.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant structures are fortified.
Double damage.
should have seen that coming.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Not so safe harbor, eh?
Nice run. Nice.
This sustains. Good remains.
Denied. Clear sailing now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Virtus Pro's turn to ban.
He's ever forced to stay still. He's not a strong hero in that setting. There's certain heroes that like to stand their ground. Peel's not one of them. But if you can't find the real Peel, which a hero like Mirana is not very good at doing, Peel, quite a hard counter to Bloodseeker in that regard. But once again, I don't know. Ninjas in Pyjamas, like their draft doesn't do something special in the first round. Like a lot of drafts will just pick like a really strong offlane combo that you can't really counter, or they'll pick a strong safe lane you can't counter. They'll pick like a flex pick. Like both these heroes, you know, Bloodseeker's going safe lane, Mirana's going off lane. You're forced to pick your next two cores in a row, so you're gonna get like bad matchups in a lot of the lanes. It just doesn't feel like a concrete draft, even in just the first two picks to me.
I think we ought to be talking about something that came up in the last draft, and that's when the Ember Spirit pick came out. We talked a lot about roots and how much problems they can cause for that hero. PL definitely in that same class, and I'll even add in, we've seen a couple of teams favoring the core Night Stalker in this tournament, and that is a PL that is a hero with that AoE silence aura now that can give PL a lot of trouble.
Yeah. The only problem I have with Night Stalker is he's not particularly aggressive in the early to mid game, like with the landing stage for the Bloodseeker.
You have to play very carefully around those times.
Yeah.
Turn to pick.
I would almost like to see something like a Puck almost off lane, or some elusive nuker that PL just doesn't want to deal with. But you do have the Mirana, so you want to go a melee hero. There's a lot of options. PL generally doesn't lose too many lanes, especially when his support is a good pick against the lane, which they're going to have that luxury.
Yeah, I think we're going to, again, this next pick is probably going to give away a lot of information about how NIP want to approach these lanes. Do you want to go try and plan for a try-v-try possibility in the Bloodseeker lane, or do you want to show aggression in the other side lane, as Beast Coast have been doing, and try and free that Bloodseeker up to farm more by himself?
I would love to see like a tinier Pudge, some hero that enables the Rupture. because of just the natural displacement. Magnus is one of the others, but he's always first round ban.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for a Tiny here. Again, that still preserves some flex value going in, although the Moran is probably going to be at that 4 position.
Hating on the Pudge, huh? You know?
We just haven't seen a lot of it. It'd be a cool pick to see.
It's not actually bad against PL because he can't really go on you because you clear his illusions as he's killing you, but
That's true.
we'll just have to see what route they like to go. If you're going to pick this Bloodseeker early, you can enable it either through the landing stage like we said, or just make its late game scale nicely. See him, actually pretty scary hero for PL to deal with. If you ever get the root off like you said, you can almost solo kill him with you +1. Like you almost kill him yourself, and then somebody else with just a little bit of damage will finish him off.
Well, and the other change, of course, just being the armor bonus for her ulti, right? It used to be that as a CM, if you ulted in PL's face, you just got surrounded and killed by this army of illusions. Now, all of a sudden with the armor bonus, at least before defusal, you're fairly safe just ulting and you can kill the PL.
Yeah, most heroes like the PLs and the Slarks their reaction was to just hit you. That matchup's not nearly as good as it used to be anymore. But I wouldn't mind if they went something defensive on VP to protect this PL. Oh, instead of going the opposite route.
Yeah, baby, Axe Skywrath combo. This is more what I'm talking about.
Okay. Very natural kill combo. This is what I like. Their draft is very open. It's like we have this kill combo. We have a hero that's going to farm. Now we're going to respond with the last 2 picks are just going to basically round our draft out in terms of pushing. They need some tower push. I'd say they need like a frontliner in the early to mid game. Like you don't need a late game frontliner, but PL can't do that until maybe 2 or 3 items. And Axe doesn't really want to be showing on the map. He wants to be that counter initiation ganker.
Leshrak's still on the board for both teams.
Yeah.
And I think Leshrak is both good against the PL and could round out some of those deficiencies that you mentioned in the VP lineup as well.
I agree. Something like a DK also works for VP.
I'm on board with that.
Just like a frontline point blank stun. Something else that combos with the Skywrath Mage is always nice. Like a mid laner that you naturally want to rotate to for the first catapult. A nice hero against PL on the laning stage.
How do you feel about that though as the game goes on?
That's what I was going to say, yeah. It's a very flat amount of damage. Usually you want scaling to AoE damage against PL, and
don't you feel like that's been a systemic problem, I feel, with a lot of Peter's recent drafts, is that the late game scaling has not really been there. We've focused so much on these tempo carries, focused so much on laning configurations, and as you saw in that last game, like Skeeter never really made the transition from mid-game magic damage Ember to late-game Ember in that game.
Yeah, last game they really didn't have like any late game. Like none of their Bloodseeker is not really a hard carry. He scales better than he used to because attack speed in the later game is better than damage, but
and it's fine. I mean, we saw plenty of games at TI end around that 30-35 minute mark, but the problem is you take the Bloodseeker off the table, and I think the VP draft is more aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me.
What I don't like overall for Ninjas and Pyjamas draft is you have a first pick Axe. What happens if somebody gets called? Like, are they just dead? You get called into Skywrath Mage ult, like, you're just dead on all these heroes. There's no save, there's no reaction. It's really easy as a hero like Axe if you know there's no target to save, because then you can go on anybody. Say they have like a Shadow Demon, obviously banned out, but then you know you have to go on the Shadow Demon, otherwise you risk getting counter-initiated onto with a save.
Well, the mid hero, of course, that gives you that still on the table is the Outworld Devourer, but you imagine that that's a very strong ban candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not mind something like that being taken out.
Love this Invoker pick, by the way.
I was going to say, it's the 98th pro pick of no one's career on Invoker. He's closing in on the hundreds.
Don't put all of your chips in the no one Invoker basket. I think it's actually slightly possible you might see a save Invoker. I think the smart money is definitely on that Invoker in the mid lane. You know, kill combo set up around the map, not just with the Mystic Flare now, but also with the Sunstrike, the Tornado EMP combo. You saw no one absolutely style on a TA the other day on his Quaswex Invoker in the mid lane.
I would love to. I want to say from either team, like both teams have a lot of aggression, but if one of their cores gets gone, and the thing is, if I'm a core that's going to get gone on, I'd much rather be a PL because you have this disengage ability compared to a Bloodseeker who kind of usually has to just pop a BKB and run away if he drops down that low.
Right. Just for info's sake, by the way, no one doesn't have a single hero that he's played more than Invoker, which would be the 98th game in this one. He's played 96 Dragon Knights and 94 Shadow Fiends, 88 Queen of Pain, so he's getting close to running a number of them over 100.
And the funny thing about that, there you go, man.
A sustainer, counter initiator, it's like a save in its own way because it makes you scared to all in heroes like Invoker PL, which you usually have to.
What's really funny about that as well is that NIP were hovering over that two
Really?
picks ago. Yeah, when they showed one of the shots from behind them, they were actually hovering over that. I don't think they had any intention of picking it. They were just hovering.
Yeah, Warlock's
By the way,
getting his axe.
I think these 3 picks, the SAP suggested picks here are all really good. I actually really still like the Outlaw
5
Devourer.
seconds remaining.
They've played a lot of Lena here though as well.
Oh, sure,
Six
absolutely.
games so far.
Gunner Lena has been outstanding.
There's the Tiny. I really like the Tiny just because...
Rupture?
Yeah, Rupture synergy. And you have to have some displacement, because if you're going on them with all 4 of your heroes, Warlock Axe makes it super awkward. But now if you take one hero and combo them into your team and make it so that they aren't in range of counter-initiating, that actually gives you like a team fight plan to win the team fights.
Here's what bothers me though. So many kill combos on the side of Virtus Pro when you talk about the Axe Skyrat, the Axe Invoker, when you talk about the team fight potential of the Warlock. I worry that even if you take one of those heroes out of the equation, Virtus Pro is still going to be totally comfortable in those skirmish kind of engagements.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, gents. Time to get into our second game of our second series in just a moment. Of course, we are at the second game of this second series. Virtus Pro having taken the first one, and can they convert that one into a second? They are on a signature hero as well, and a man, no one, playing his Invoker for the 98th time, potentially, of course. We don't actually know whether he's in there, but let's find out as we head over to our commentary team for game number 2.
That's right, it is going to be a no-one Invoker indeed for Virtus Pro. Is this going to be good enough to close this series out 2-0 after quite an extensive game 1?
No, I want to see game 3.
All right.
They told me the crowd wants to see a game 3, production wants a game 3, I want a game 3.
Yeah.
Let's just keep the show going.
Get in the show at 1 a.m.
I'm all right with that.
All right, let's go. Game 2, Virtus Pro versus Ninjas of Pyjamas. A very aggressive lineup from Nip, we have to say. They did get the Bloodseeker that you have been talking about. You think this hero is just sick right now.
It is so good. It feels like the way to play against him is just, it's so annoying. At some point, somebody's going to get low in the lane, and you're going to deal a lot of damage. And in team fights, where things are chaotic, if you don't take him down first, it feels like he just kind of runs around at ultra haste.
Yeah.
30 seconds to battle.
And when you say low, I think a lot of people don't fully understand the threshold of thirst.
Yes.
Low is below 75%. That's when he starts getting thirst stacks. You think you're like, you're just taking a little bit of harassment back and forth, but in some other lane, the Bloodseeker has begun to run faster and faster, and your offlaner has begun to get more and more scared. That offlaner is going to be Resolution. Virtus Pro, though, are going to fight over these bounty runes with the Skywrath Mage and Solo's Warlock. They're going to try and pick up all of them. They do manage to get only 2 of them. Resolution gets quite low, but they may still be able to get the first blood on Piper. Oh, high ground miss, but another shot from Solo. That'll finish it up. First blood for Solo.
And once again, another blood right thrown out, but not going to connect quite yet.
That, my friend, was a steak.
And Solo will make his way over to the top lane, where he's going to be babysitting Epileptic Kid on the Phantomizer, a hero that we don't see a whole lot of lately. When do you think this is picked up?
Just because of the current crop of heroes. I feel like they play out a little bit faster. They offer a little bit more team fight, but this feels like a hero that he is especially comfortable with.
Well, this is a terrible start to this off-lane save. Forced back to the fountain because of this defensive tri-lane from Ninjas to Pyjamas, so Resolution is going to have to do some sort of pulling shenanigans if he wants to get his very crucial level 2. Pretty sure that Peter Pan Dam already knows what's going on. As you said, our mid lane matchup, the Gunner Tiny versus No One's Invoker. Just trying to get CS under tower right now. Is this a good game for Quaswex Invoker?
I'm trying to think. I guess it's actually pretty good. He has a lot of different things that he can deal with, as Rezo's just going to go for the TP out in front of the creeps too, so Beaver can't really cancel that.
no blood for you.
A lot of these heroes are pretty dependent on the mana. Sanking and Tiny.
The Tiny, the CM's got one of the lowest int gains in the game.
Yep.
It's not bad against the Mirana. In terms of the Bloodseeker, it resets the fight hard, and they don't have the easiest ways until Axe gets more levels and items anyways to set up for Sunstrike kills. So I think they actually need a hero that creates tempo, and they want a hero that can come down to this bottom lane and mess with the Bloodseeker, because I actually feel like they've got quite a nice kill combo. Skywrath Mage plus Axe. You bring any one hero into this, and I feel like this should be kills.
Absolutely. Maybe that's why they start off with this defensive tri-lane from Ninjas the Pyjamas. They know how potent the Axe Skywrath Mage duo can be, particularly to a somewhat fragile core in Bloodseeker. And they'll just let Universe do the old solo offlane bit that he's done so many times before in his illustrious past.
And mid, he's looking for it, but might not really find the angle, as he is spotted out by the ward the entire time. We saw this last game too, on his Rubik. He was waiting for it for such a long time, and instead gonna head towards bottom lane. They should have spotted this with the ward too, and as long as Rezo isn't caught out.
They still surprise him here with an arrow. Blood right going out. Not gonna land.
And the arrow whiffs too, and it actually looks like NIP take more damage for their troubles.
Yeah, this is really just not a good start for their defensive tri-lane whatsoever. Yes, Skeeter is being able to get a lot of experience because they're keeping out of the creep range, which I think is quite nice of them. But Axe and Save Skywrath Mage, they're still closing in on their level 3, and that's where a lot of kill power comes in.
Yeah. PO getting absolute free farm. Axe keeping up with at least the Sand King.
Sentry up in top lane. Universe knows about it. He's just going to TP back.
He's going to miss so much XP for this, though.
Yeah, that's going to suck. He may actually just sit in base and buy boots so he can get back to the lane faster.
And he does do that indeed, as he's going to walk himself up, crab legs and all. Save going to run into Beaver here, who does have leap now. Doesn't have to be too careful of this. He's prepping the arrow right now.
Fighting just a bit. We are out of mana on the Skywrath Mage. She's only got one clarity to work with.
Tower is under attack.
No one denies the rune so that he can get back to his mid tower in time to get that 1 CS. And CS wise, I mean, it's going in favor of VP. They got the first blood too, so the Goldie's going to be right there for them.
Not terribly surprising that no one just continues to win mid matchups against some of these younger mid lane players like Gunnar. Top lane, Universe.
Doesn't have TP.
He's still inside that sentry range.
Doesn't have a stun either.
Out of it, but he's just dead. Too much damage.
That's a huge death. Gonna have to.
Yeah, he may need somebody to buy a teleport for him, because
all the battle runes are coming up, and it looks like Rezo's gonna fight over them.
This could be Nib. Getting two of them here in this bottom side since the Warlock is already secured.
Still, this tri-lane, not getting any kills. This is a kill-based tri-lane too. Like, that's where they're gonna get the majority of their XP from. It's not like Skeeter's getting uncontested farm either. Like, the Axe still has 12 CS, and the PL is doing much better than him.
At the same time, it is two different supports that can play off of jungle, which I think is rather unusual. So they're not as exposed to that experience deficit. They've been able to farm up some hard cam creeps off of the arrow. And Peter, he can always do that with a frostbite as well. Bite Me says no one, as he managed to get a tornado EMP onto Gunnar. Gunnar turns around, throws his full combo at no one, but the damage is already done to his mana. He's now out of it, and no one will naturally regen up thanks to the 3 levels.
They should know about that ward, right? I mean, they just watched PPD walk all the way up.
Yeah, probably.
Gunnar's gonna get an arcane rune for his shovels too.
Universe just deciding he can no longer play in lane, is going to be sandstorming his way through the jungle.
This feels so bad. Just because you're in a 2-on-2 position, Warlock's just going to continue to pull. Beaver still only level 2, 6 minutes in. You have to get a kill for this to work out, but no one with the ward right there knows all about this. Just has to play in the creep line. Has to be a little bit careful.
Bottom lane.
lane, trying to get aggressive on Skeeter, but they have to keep that pressure, otherwise he just Blood Rage heals off of some creeps. That's why it was all important for them to be able to defend this Bloodseeker in their first few levels, keep that pressure off of him.
Yeah, and no one's going to see this again. And he's trying to bait him a little bit.
Yeah.
To make it as though
they do manage to get the arrow thanks to the avalanche into toss combination. Solo is here between the Quas and now that Shadow Word. If anything, it's going to be Gunner who may be dying as no one chases him up into the high ground with help of Solo. One more avalanche, though, to be able to create a bit of distance.
This is a level 2 hero. Like, the Mirana arrow doesn't really do anything, as save might go down too, does get hit by the arrow. They're finally going to pick up some kills for themselves.
Boy, they needed that so badly.
They really did.
I mean, there's the little things like, yeah, Sand King can jungle relatively efficiently, and yeah, they can farm off some neutrals with those supports. Gunner almost going down, gets to the trees in time. It's actually going to be bottled up, so no one may not expect this, but he does see the arrow coming, so he's fine. Once again, vision on the high ground has saved him so many times now.
And now Solo actually has been left to his own devices at top lane, and it's going to be the Phantom Lancer that makes the early rotation into the jungle. Maybe worried about the Sand King stun, as we see here again. I think no one saw it, and he didn't really care.
Yeah.
He sees a level 2 Mirana, no Starfall.
Invisibility.
Especially the Quas Wex Invoker that's so tanky with those levels of Quas. Having a defensive rotation from a support like that.
Yeah, making that play, though, probably cost Rezo his life because of how low the Invoker got.
Yeah, that's true.
Sped up the Bloodseeker.
VP, just doing the strong laning phase things. This is something they've kind of always been known for. I'm sure a lot of that influence comes from Solo. They are going to try and punish Solo for soloing up this top lane, but they don't quite get him with the arrow. And now, as a result, they may be in trouble. This Epileptic Kid comes on in. Only 1 level of the Spirit Lance, but 4 levels of the Phantom Rush means as long as he has vision of Fiber, he should be able to keep running him down. They have the Blood Right, but it's going to be too late to save the Mirana. They will get some damage onto the real Phantom Lancer. A little bit more. They actually throw out the Rupture, but it looks like on the wrong hero. They actually hit the Illusion. Now Skater's going to get caught. Tornado on through. Universe just hiding in the sandstorm in the back lines, but he can't actually save the Bloodseeker at this rate. Oh, Burrow Strike up in 1 more second. They're going to try and stop out Invoker. Do manage to get him with the arrow immediately afterwards, so they do trade cores. Now they're going to try and chase down Solo, but nice use of the Shadow Word, TP out. Just too much heal over time for them to be able to burst him down.
Both teams reacting heavily to this. And Rezo's going to finally get some farm as a result. He knows that everyone has made their way up to its top lane. I'd like to see him even skip the wave after this lane.
Yeah.
And start to pressure that tower, because NIP are stuck up here. Now they're going to be in a position where they want to pressure their own tower. So you're going to see the replay again.
Fight again. I mean, this is one of the big things is Epileptic Kid came out of it okay. Right? He was able to get this kill on the Mirana. He doesn't get hit by Skeeter, who went for that Rupture, went for the Illusion instead of the real one. And
I think he didn't realize it first.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually missed.
He was like, oh, I don't actually have to TP out. And eventually he was able to just return and keep farming up that jungle area and continues to lead this top lane for Solo, who really just wants the experience for his level 6, but he's not going to be able to get a toss forward. And the Bloodseeker will run him down. They're going to try and trade off some towers here, though. It's a good opportunity for Resolution, who hasn't cut the creep wave, and as a result hasn't been able to really go for this kill on Peter Pan Dam, but they should soon. With the concussive shot.
Regeneration.
They can't really afford for Ninjas of Pyjamas to just take control of this top lane and continue to let Peter Pan Dam pull creeps off the tower.
Yeah, this kind of passive game is going to help them out. They don't really have an offlaner that can pressure him. That's why Save is down here. They want to get this kill. Save's game also has been hampered quite a bit. Only level 4.
Certainly going to need that tome for our Skyrat to finally get that kill combo. They also need the space for Resolution because he wants to be able to get his Hood of Defiance. After all, it's a lot of magic damage on Ninja Pyjamas, so he needs to be able to get his Hood of Defiance before he goes for the Blink Dagger, and the Blink Dagger is what really enables this Skyrat.
Top tower is under attack.
That killing duo with the Siege Wagon pushing in. They're definitely going to go for the dive here, and it's just a question of how ballsy is Peter going to be. He's going to Crystal Nova, try and kill some of the creeps, but he very immediately dies, and the TP is going to be canceled as well.
They should just trade towers now.
Yeah.
Top tower is under attack.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Skeeter's already up top. He's going to use his wave, pressure this out. Has 3 levels in the blood right.
The advantage is Ninja Pyjamas always taking better opportunity of the jungle areas, because the Mirana, while she's top, is still farming up the jungle and not interfering with Skeeter's experience. Universe is doing the same thing with his Sandstorm. So while both teams have to commit, Ninjas the Pyjamas are just able to get that little extra bit of efficiency constantly. Tornado EMP. Gunner says goodbye to his mana by throwing out the combo instead of just losing it to the EMP. He knows he's got that Crystal Maiden Arcane Aura anyway. 2 levels of it from Peter Pan Dam. 3 levels in the Crystal Nova. Still wants to be in fighting shape, wants to have a big impact with that AoE spell.
Both supports playing around each other. Not really a target for them to easily go on. They want to make a move towards mid, take this mid tower, get even more space, start to sandwich NIP into their own triangle.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Save, gonna run into PBD.
Spotted. They're gonna try and blow up Peter. Should be able to get a lot of damage out of that Mystic Flare. One last shot for the Arcane Bolt. Is it gonna be enough? He does have stick charges. I think he actually lives through this. That's why a second bolt is required to be able to get that kill. But Solo, he came forward, actually kind of in a precarious position. Almost got traded out there by Universe's TP had spotted him. Nice aggressive vision though down from VP inside that jungle area.
And this is all just creating more and more space for this Phantom Lancer. Universe trying so hard to catch up. I mean, his laning phase was completely ruined. He had a TP at a top twice. They're gonna go for the smoke, lay down the sentry for any sort of vision, and I think you might want to go into the triangle. It looks like they're trying to go into their own jungle side, see if the Bloodseeker's out there. But as we know, he's in the triangle area. Establishing your own vision back up here too isn't a bad idea, considering how the PL wants to farm.
Do you think Phantom Monster takes more advantage of the safe lane jungle in that regard, or what do you mean?
I mean, I kind of want the PL to be between mid and his own jungle, rather than going in this bottom area of the map, because I want his hero to pressure. He's the strongest hero on the map right now by far. He's got 1k gold lead over everybody. And you sort of want Rezo to just own out this area.
Well, he is getting closer to his Blink Dagger. There's not a lot of free space, and Ninjas the Pyjamas feels like they're the ones who should really kick it up a notch. Start finding these Rupture ganks. They're going to try and set up on mid if they can get the right opportunity here. Maybe a quick kill onto no one with the use of the Blink Dagger of the Tiny. The arrow comes in. The Rupture as well, all being used to make sure that no one can't go anywhere and will die to the Blood Right. But now the turnaround with a Warlock Golem being dropped in. A beautiful Fatal Bond flashing onto all 4 of these heroes. If they actually can just see him, would be an opportunity for multiple kills. But sadly, the Moonlight Shadow will prevent that.
Very, very nice use of the first Blink Dagger pickup by Gunner. Calls his team over. Easy combo for them. It's PBD. He's really far forward, but it doesn't look like they've got a Blink Dagger on their axe, so no way for them to catch up.
And if you're NIP, don't you just like force the same kind of move sometime soon? Once Rupture's back up, they won't have the rock anymore, and I think then, especially with no Blink Dagger on the axe, there's not a whole lot of turnaround potential. They can initiate on the Invoker. That's their most important hero right now.
Yeah, the PL isn't really in a position where he can 1v5 quite yet.
Yeah.
The Invoker only gets Tornado off in that fight. Quite happy about it.
The scary part of fighting a Phantom Lancer when it comes to his mid-game timings is all around that Diffusal Blade. He has Manta and Diffusal Blade, or maybe a second agility item. That's when the damage starts becoming real. Oh, he's actually not going to go for the Manta first. He was thinking about it, but Diffusal Blade instead.
Maybe he thinks he just needs more damage in these fights.
Yeah. Understandably so, especially since you're still holding your mid tower. Getting this earlier, faster build. You control that mid tower longer, you control your own jungle longer. Solo is going to get picked off by the rotation from them. From behind, they're trying any way they can to be able to find an opening to take full control of this mid tower, and that's exactly what happens. Now VP, all they can do is just play in the enemy jungle and push out this bottom tier 2, but a clear win for NIP. Maybe back-to-back victories. We'll see. NIP are going to smoke up his 3-man, start heading down to bottom, but if they don't bring their Bloodseeker and Sand King,
This may turn into disasters. They're going to run into the full 5-man.
They can't TP, and if they run it safe first, this might be an ideal situation for them. The smoke's going to break. Save's going to see them first.
Does get Avalanche before you get off any real spells. Support already down, and Virtus Pro have teleport their cores away.
Yeah, this is going to signal the full retreat. Once Save goes down like that, you don't know how many heroes are down there, and Skeeter's getting really close to the Radiance. You don't really want to force a fight when your Bloodseeker is that weak. Like, he's got so much net worth tied up into nothing right now.
I love this. They make the play on mid, they smoke up, head bottom, now they're Moonlight Shadowing, trying to maybe get into that dire jungle area.
Yeah, it's going to be spotted though, because Skeeter showed himself bottom. The pings already came out.
Yeah. Well, Radiant sooner for them, but Virtus Pro, they finally have a Space Maker on their team. The Axe has a Blink Dagger. If he could just pair up with this Skywrath Mage, maybe even the Warlock can join him after all. He's got his Chaotic Offering ready to go. They're going to bring no one along for the ride, too. They want to get almost everybody involved in this. A 4-man aggressive play to be able to create some space for this Phantom Lancer.
The prize is mine.
But who are they going to run into? Universe, if he shows himself here. He doesn't. He slides into the trees.
Feels like we're getting into a similar situation as last game. Both teams just reading each other a little bit too well.
Yeah.
Not enough initiation on the side of VP. They just got the Blink Dagger on the Axe, so and they've just sort of been waiting around. And NIP is going to read that. They're going to go for more plays of their own. They've had the Blink Dagger for some time on Gunner. They haven't found the targets that they wanted. They're going to make an aggressive move into the triangle, which always a little bit dangerous, just because you're potentially fighting under the shrine.
Universe, he's trying to go for that cheeky, just cutting creep ways, but almost getting caught. But Resolution completely whiffs that one. Now they no longer have a call, but they do manage to stop his TP. Universe thought he could actually go for it and fade back into the sandstorm in time. No such luck, though.
Going to give the last hit to the Phantom Lancer as well.
Dire's bottom tower.
Man, he almost got out of that.
Yeah. He does manage to pull pressure off of that tower, and VP can't go back for it because there's more pressure at the bottom lane.
And like you said, the Mirana just continues to arrow creeps.
Dire's bottom
Not even in that bad of a position when it comes to farm.
Yeah, he's almost got Yules. Pretty big.
Yeah, he's really close to the Yules.
He's got to break the smoke through with this positioning. They're going to blink on top of him, though. Great read by Resolution, holding in this Mirana. Now they're going to try and get a little bit more out of this.
Solo's just going to confidently walk in.
Solo is just like, I want to force a fight right here. And oh, he tries to get off the Chaotic Offering. Almost gets bursted down, but finally he does get it off now. Gunner, he actually gets away from all of that one. Solo dropped the Golem and will be able to walk it off. Gunner is probably just going to get kited down now as he, the toss forward, not quite enough. They had a range off on Solo, so he still survives, thanks in part to his Shadow Word and the other part to his Infused.
He's got to get out of here, and the tornado whiffs. If he had sent it down, would have found him. And that would have been such a big pickup, so close to that Radiance. It's going to help Universe out, as he's just going to crab walk his way towards mid, farm out again, but this is VP finally getting aggressive with their items.
What I kind of appreciate is that VP has a strong read of how NIP want to play, and so they're 5-manning constantly. There's just
they actually see Epileptic Kid.
Yeah, this would be massive. They're going to lead off with the Frostbite, follow up Burrow Strike into that freezing field. So much AoE damage, but Epileptic Kid, he's very tanky. He's got a Hood of Defiance plus 2 Wraith Band.
Know which one the real one is, though.
Which one the real one is. They're going to rupture him up. Blood Ride him as well. No opportunity to be able to doppelganger. Tornado coming in, but it goes to the Bloodseeker. It went on top of the Sand King instead, but they needed to stop the damage up. That carry arrow hits very low. A blink forward from Resolution, dodging that avalanche, a toss away from Gunner's going to be able to buy Fiverr some time here. Solo starts healing up a bit as he's kind of willing to tank one for the team if necessary.
If that tornado hits, maybe VP can turn things around, but really well done by NIP. PPD finding the real one, and Gunner stepping forward for this rune might cost him his life.
Oh, he's very tanky. He's got level 2 grow, so the physical damage just doesn't do enough. 22 armor on that hero right now.
Wants to get rid of the Battle Hunger, does so. And a pipe picked up by Rezo.
Radiance is almost here for Skeeter, but you have to worry about the fact that you are so far behind this Phantom Lancer, who, eventually he will outcarry this Bloodseeker, right? Soon as he gets,
it depends if he finds the rupture. Who gets the jump first? If they can find the real one, then it's not that hard at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna get spotted here. No one scouting forward.
No tornado available. Still on cooldown.
It just feels a little bit awkward when they have to initiate.
Yeah.
By the way, PL has completed a hood.
Yeah. That's what made him so tanky in that last fight, but still wasn't enough.
Almost has the Manta now, too.
Well, that's another big upgrade. His level 15, the 275 health mixed in with the 20% evasion, as well as the Hooded Defiance. That's just peak health efficiency right there. But with the Radiance now online for Skeeter, all that AoE damage that they already had coming out from the Sand King and the Tiny and the Mirana and the Crystal Maid. Now the Bloodseeker can join in on that party with his damage over time. And let's just have a party up here in the Dire Jungle. They're going to move forward, leading the way for the Bloodseeker as he pushes in the way for the rest of Virtus Pro, heading down into the middle lane, trying to even things out by taking that mid tower. We have a momentary pause.
Once again, both teams very evenly matched. And just the way that their lineups are sort of formulated, you're just not going to see those dogfights like we saw out of Beast Coast and Wind and Rain.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more passive. They're going to wait for their core positions to get online. They're very item dependent on both teams.
Do you think that, isn't it kind of twice now that NIP have the more early or mid game lineup and VP have the more late game lineup, and NIP had just kind of struggled to make things work in the early game?
Yeah, they're definitely taking this a little bit slower as NIP. Look at this. They're holding the hill. They're hiding in the tree line.
Radiant's middle tower.
No one is trying to block off this move, and they're just going to give up their mid tower for free. The only way this has to feel worth it is if you get top in return. They're hoping somebody was trying to connect the short way.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Even though you get a tier 2 tower, I feel like you want to save that tier 1 mid.
Middle tower is under attack.
Especially since they did manage to get the bottom tower at the same time, thanks to a heavy creep wave push back over to the top lane. We're going to follow our Bloodseeker, who's almost dead. Here's the death isn't quite enough. The Burrow Strike comes in, but it's not enough to be able to save the carry of NIP. Skeeter dying like that has now just led Universe to his potential death. The Avalanche coming out. Now the Rock is going to be dropped right as 2 cores show themselves. Gunner's going to try and TP away, but they all went for that because the carry of Ninjas and Pyjamas got caught in the first place. One by one, they all come tumbling down, and Virtus Pro,
he was way too far forward.
Oh yeah.
This allows the PL to just farm up. They could even go back towards mid, push it out. Some pings are coming out from Universe, trying to alert Viper, who is farming the jungle still. He's got to be careful. He's very close to being out of mana, but the Ghost Walk is going to tip him off, and no one is going to all chat him just to let him know, I know.
Virtus Pro just seemed to be very successful with this style of having better late game and knowing the enemy team's going to be forced to make maneuvers and just, you know, playing 5-man, playing defensively on high grounds, just, you know, buying time for their carry to farm.
They're just abusing whenever NIP make mistakes.
Middle tower is under attack.
It is definitely a forced errors kind of play style, and it does result in their cores being rather low on the net worth chart. You can see that this Aghanim Scepter is going to be a bit slow for no one. The Axe has had some...
I really like the timing of this fight, though. I don't know if NIP will see this coming because there's no Warlock Golem, so maybe they think there won't be a fight.
Good catch on the tree lines. They're going to be able to go for the tree line and manage with the Tornado to be able to grab a couple heroes as well. The Crystal Maid just doesn't die fast enough, and Viper is going to be in a bit of trouble. They do have
how strong this PL is.
He is so big right now. He's ripping through these heroes with that physical damage. None of them really had a chance. He just like popped them 1 second after the other.
There was no way they could have anticipated VP was going to be there.
Yeah.
They just thought, okay, they'll fight off the rock cooldown, but VP was like, no, we're still strong enough. Our PL is so fight ready. And the downside of this like Radiance only Bloodseeker is, we talked about it with the Wraith King build too, this item, it doesn't do enough damage, it just helps you farm a little bit faster.
Yeah. It's really once you get your second item after the Radiance.
Once you get your BKB.
And that blind call could have been so much worse, but the Tornado follow-up was quite nice. And as a result, they tried to jump on no one you saw there, but Gunner was just a little bit too slow.
And Universe, one of their main forms of initiation. He was just gone on, blown up almost immediately.
Yeah.
Rezo had a pipe of his own. They didn't really mind standing under that sandstorm.
That recently acquired pipe now has led to a 7,000 net worth lead for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, and they're just falling further and further behind. They've almost got all the top net worth lead.
And they want to fight without Chaotic Offering. Now it's up just 5 seconds time, so they're ready to fight again.
The PL is so much bigger than the Bloodseeker.
It's massive. Has a 4,000 net worth lead over the opposing carry.
He's got his TP cancel and his way to deal with the Bloodseeker one-on-one when he does get the BKB, which I'm a huge fan of. Maybe something like a Satanic afterwards would serve him quite nicely. He's going to try to run in PPD, trying to get out. This would be pretty big, though, if NIP could just get out with no one dead.
All retreating to the trees, but this Ghost-walked Invoker, no one ran down. And the truth was, the Bloodseeker was farther up.
That's twice now. Skeeter's read his movement.
Viper's just going in deep into the enemy side with the remnants of this Moonlight Shadow. Finally has TP back up and he'll join the rest of the team top. VP, they're making a fast move here to top lane, but the NIP was already in position. If they can actually catch this Invoker, they do manage to get the Rupture onto him. Now Gunner's been controlled up by the Axe, yes, but somebody's got to get on top of this Invoker, but the Phantom Lancer's too strong. He's already chased away the Bloodseeker, and they've had to leave Gunner to die here.
No way you're going to defend this anymore. They're not going to get anything more than this tier 1 tower unless they just straight up go into Roshan, which I'm not that opposed to. Rupture was already used. Their hero's dead.
It would require a monster epicenter to come in from Universe to be able to.
They've got the pipe. And this early on, it's so nice against that Sand King.
Yeah, pretty much just 1-to-1 counters all that damage. So it's looking like an impossible scenario for Ninja the Pyjamas to defend the first Roshan.
Yeah, and even though Viper was able to push out that top lane, I think VP saw that Creep Wave was nowhere near it. They'll say, we'll take this tier 1 tower, go for the Roshan instead. Aegis is going to be free for them. They've had so much trouble taking down this Phantom Lancer. It's not going to get easier from here on out. And look at how far down the Bloodseeker is. Just comparing him to the Phantom Lancer, still not that close to his BKB.
That's why VP just run at him. Every single time he shows up on the map, they know his timing window is coming up, but if they can delay that a little bit further, may just solidify the game for themselves. I mean, I feel like VP already has, as this is looking very grim for Ninja the Pyjamas. They're going to have to do some heavy outplaying, which they did manage to do a decent amount of in game 1. This 1 setting up right now on Biver, and Biver not really sure what to do, struggling to slowly run back, but eventually some of the VP heroes may get here. Save's gonna move forward with his Glimmer Cape. Universe just waiting for no one to show himself somewhere. He's gonna pop that dust. Does manage to find him. The follow-up with the Rupture is there, so no one just has to stand inside the silence. But Resolution's waiting for his opportunity to counter-initiate, but he goes to the avalanche, so he won't be able to get the call. Now the epicenter is out, slowing him down a little bit, but in for the backlines. That Phantom Lancer, the freezing field protects the Crystal Main a little bit, slows down his Delet, but eventually he will die. And now it's gonna be Gunner cleaned up as well, unless the Moonlight Shadow. Do they have any vision? They're gonna be able to get the call onto him. That will reveal Gunner quite easily. 1 for 2 trade-off. Again, they find this nice initiation onto the Invoker, but they don't have an answer for this Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, they just have to ignore him. Wherever he decides to go, it's full retreat mode. PPD was just trying to waste his time. Pops the ulti, gets all that armor.
And,
really the best solution right now.
Epileptic Kid's like, you know what? I don't need a heart. I don't need a Satanic. I can just build into a full Abyssal Blade. That'll give me a little bit of tankiness off the Vanguard component. But I can focus all on offense right now because I have the secondary life in Aegis.
That's how you know he's feeling himself.
Oh, certainly.
Plus he'll have, again, good way to go through the Bloodseeker's first BKB usage.
It's nice to see that Virtus Pro just like fully trust Epileptic Kid to carry this game. Like the way they just kind of insulated him, protected him with their 4-man, and said we're going to sacrifice everybody else's farm just to give this young carry that we're trying out a chance.
His PL, by the way, looks so much more smooth than his Faceless Void.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He knows where to be at all times. His team fights seem a lot more clean. His illusion micro is very good too.
He just always seems to be coming in to the back line after Nip have initiated.
Yeah, and then he just sandwiches them.
Yep.
Makes it impossible for them to get out with just losing one hero. Look at how farm Solo is, by the way. 5-position Warlock, 2 bracers, a wand, and a mech.
Wow.
2,000 HP. I mean, no one's going down on their team.
Yeah, he's got the level 15 talent, the 60% experience, so they win one fight, all of a sudden you got the level 20 talent, so Zola can just kind of run in, get two golems out with his death. First strike, only gonna hit illusions here.
But Universe not in the best position to deal with the tower push itself. Sandstorm wanted to be a little bit closer so that it could actually affect the creeps.
Yeah, or even just start whittling away at Phantom Lancer's health. Tries it again, Blood right into Arrow. It's a good opportunity to get a little bit of poke damage, especially with the tossback and the rupture, but he does manage to doppelganger forward onto the goal. Oh god, Gunner's just dead, and now they're going to be able to get the Mystic Flare to finish off the Crystal Maiden, instantly buying back. Virtus Pro, though, have extended themselves quite heavily. Epileptic Kid, another doppelganger out there. Rupture is run out, he managed to get a bash onto Gunner. Don't tell me he's going to finish off Gunner twice. No, the Avalanche will make sure that he loses his Aegis here. The Freezing Field on out, immediately canceled, though, by that little bit of Cold Snap now called up, and Epileptic Kid gets that kill on the front lines. The carrier Virtus Pro seems to be unstoppable. That's why Universe tries to go for the back line, tries to finish off save, and Skyrim Page, he may not actually die here because the protection coming out from his team as they reinitiate off a resolution to no one, controlling up Universe and chasing away both Gunner as well as the Bloodseeker.
They're doing their best, trying to hold on, but
Middle barracks are under attack.
they don't really have the spells.
Not looking
KB is still on cooldown. They could just back away. They don't really need to take this range Rax, but they're going to hard commit for it anyways.
I mean, they still have tier 2s up. There is really no sense of doing this. Okay, well, if they can get the kills and get out, it's fine. And they should be able to get the kill on Gunner. He's dead for 75 seconds. But Burrow Strike onto Resolution and Arrow as well. A Rupture on top of that. They are really throwing all their spells at one hero, and they can't fully commit. They're going to be able to use the BKB, but Resolution just made himself so tanky, and they might be able to get Skater who dies. Resolution will die to the Burrow Strike, yes, but the carry of Ninjas and Pyjamas is all gone. That means the Phantom Lancer, well shit, tier 2s are still up, but maybe we can just go tier 4s.
Rezo gonna buy back. They finally spot him. No way to dispel this out.
Buyback from the Rana, but Universe is dead now. It's just the 2 supports who are gonna try and defend against this. Now it's only Bimer who has to leap his way into the trees.
He doesn't want to give him the rampage.
They just go straight to the fountain and they call GG to deny the rampage. A spiteful loss for the Pyjamas as Virtus Pro walk away with a much cleaner Game 2 victory.
Oh yeah. Really liked how they moved around the map. The decisive maneuver into the jungle without the rock, just going for it. Probably the game-winning play for them. And that engagement at top with the Bloodseeker, after they took the tier 2 tower, just way too far forward, gets called out.
And that, stalling out his Radiance timing and in turn stalling out his BKB, that was just so bad for them. And it has to say, for Virtus Pro, this has got to be the ideal way to close out this series. A confident and clean victory. And again, one that is backed by your young carry, Epileptic Kid, who just destroyed